10.
Plan 9.
8.
7.
6 shots.
5.
Quattro.
We are the three. Amigos.
2 more mother humpers.
One ring to rule them all.
Let's rock!
All right. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to another episode of Brewing Film Live. Today is a big one as we tackle the classic, the greatest action story ever told, Terminator 2. Dun 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 dun. And I got two special guests with me today. First, returning is the Lava Factory's very own, so Blue Yoda. I always try to say your real name, but I don't know how to pronounce it. So can you?
It's pronounced Etienne, and a lot of people struggle with it. So yeah, Blue Yoda, my fan editor name or remix artist name. Yes.
All right, perfect. Excellent. And first time on the show, and amazing YouTube creator with the T for Two channel is T for Two himself. Can we use real names on here? Is that okay?
You could call me your Uncle Casey.
My Uncle Casey's here. Fantastic.
No, your Uncle Casey.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Your Uncle Casey. Okay.
To other people, he's Casey.
That's right. So, yeah, welcome to the show, guys. Thanks a lot for being here today.
Well,
Very
thank you.
Thanks for inviting us.
appropriate for this. All right, there we go. No, I've been wanting to do Terminator 2 for a long time, and I couldn't think of two better people to be on the show with than the two best Terminator fans out there. So for those that know, Casey, you do the T for Two YouTube channel. You got some great videos on there.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic
Yes.
videos.
The one I enjoyed the most though has to be the one about and I'm forgetting his real name right now, but the guy that played the biker.
Robert Winley.
Robert Winley, that's it. Yes, Robert Winley. Yeah. Oh man, that video is so much fantastic fun, and it's hilarious because I also just before that video came out, discovered him as a major role in Stone Cold.
Yeah,
which is a really fun movie to watch. Yeah, so Terminator 2, which was released in 1991, and man, time flies. It is 33 years old now. And I just can't believe that. The movie stands up like nothing else. It looks like it could have come out literally last year. But yeah, before we get into it, I want to know your histories with Terminator 2. So let's start with T for Two himself. What is your history with T2? Like the first time you watched it, did you fall in love immediately?
Oh yeah. It was love at first sight and sound and feel and everything that a movie can do for you, which is, I didn't know that movies could do that to you before I saw Terminator 2. And I think that's why it stuck with me so much. You know, if I saw it at an older age, after I had seen other movies that really moved me, I'm sure I'd still love it, but I don't know if I would have carried it with me all these years, because it was the first big movie that made me say, like, holy shit, like movies are more than just something that you just kind of dismissively watch for fun. You know, they can move you like, you know, art can move you, and because they are art. And I just didn't really realize that up until that point. So it was watching Terminator 2 and going through all the emotions and crying at the end. First movie that made me cry.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why it's made such a big impact on me. And yeah, and it wasn't until years later after I you know, it's funny, as you get older, you can look back at things and kind of psychoanalyze your childhood and stuff as you understand those things better. And I think part of the reason that I'm into heavy metal music is because the score for T2 is so heavy and it moves you. And as I got older, I kept finding myself drawn toward heavier music, and everything was like, after a couple weeks, it's like, this isn't heavy enough. This isn't doing it for me. And I think that's because of T2. And I love that score so much. I had Brad Feidel's score on cassette that I listened to in my first car, my 89 Park Avenue.
Ooh.
How old were you?
when I saw T2.
Yeah.
I think I was it was like maybe the summer after second grade, somewhere around there. I was 7 or 8, probably.
Did you
My
see it in the
parents-
theater?
No, I wish I could have. And I must have, maybe through, the toy commercials or something, I must have already known that Arnie was the good guy in this one, because I don't remember having a big, like, shocking moment when he told John to get down after pointing that shotgun at his head. I wish I could erase my memory of the movie and see it for the first time again, not knowing any of that. I envy when I see comments from people on YouTube or on social media talking about how, they didn't know and how much it shocked them. And I really envy those people, because what a cool moment that must be. And so anytime I share the movie,
They
like,
must
if I'm
have been
meeting-
one of the lucky ones that didn't actually watch the trailer for it.
yeah, or the final trailers anyway. The
final
initial
trailers, yeah.
trailers did a good
Great.
job with it, but
Yeah.
then towards the end it was just like, let's anybody who's not sold on it yet, let's throw everything at them.
Yeah. But this
But if
time
I-
he's here to protect him.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
like,
That's
no,
right.
Don't say that.
Good impression.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, this is before the internet, right? So whenever you got glimpses of Terminator 2 was at, TV shows, Entertainment Tonight, or, you had to buy magazines
Yeah.
to get information. So the information was not as widespread as it is today.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I remember not for Terminator 2, but I remember for Jurassic Park. Because remember, there also used to be that time when movies came to the theater, they're out of the theater, and you can't get the media till the VHS release like a year later. And there was like a Nova special about cloning, and they had like a couple tiny clips from Jurassic Park, and I taped it just to watch those clips. So it's like,
Yeah.
that's what media was like back then.
Oh, yeah.
So then your first experience with Terminator 2 was obviously on VHS then, eh? So did your parents rent it or buy it, or?
Yeah. My parents, they went out to eat one night and they got a babysitter, which wasn't a super frequent thing. My parents weren't loaded, so I don't know if it was maybe once a month or something, they'd get a babysitter and go out to eat. And that was the movie that they rented for our entertainment that night. And
Good choice.
oh, yeah, for sure. And yeah, it definitely, I mean, I remember that night really well. I don't remember a lot of things from second grade because that was a long time ago, but I really remember sitting in front of the TV watching that, and at the end just really getting emotional, and yeah, it stuck with me for sure. Anytime
Looks like-
now that go
You know
ahead.
I was gonna say, it looks like the Gourd King here. He's got a similar story to you. That was the first R-rated film I ever watched in theaters. Thanks, Dad.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah,
cool.
see, good parenting, right?
Yeah,
That
for
was
sure.
back then.
How parents can just make random decisions. Oh, we'll take that one. I'm sure he'll
Yeah.
like it. And it's, well, not life-changing, but it has a profound effect on their kids, and they never had any idea. It's just a random movie. Imagine if they
Yeah.
had gotten something else
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
wouldn't even
It's-
look
they got you the bridges in Madison County.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one is he going to enjoy tonight? Or the Barney sing along?
Yeah.
Then that's great. And like I'm guessing since then you've probably watched it more than a couple times.
Yeah, I think I've seen it like twice since then. Yeah.
yeah. At least.
Yeah, actually, it's funny when I think about how often I've seen Terminator 2 in the last 5 or 6 years, I haven't sat down to watch it start to finish once, because working on the show, I'm constantly combing through the movie to clip out
Yeah.
little bits to show on the show. So I've watched through it so many times doing that ever since I started the show that, I mean, it's still my favorite movie, but I feel no need to sit down and watch it. I'm hoping that the show doesn't make me sick of it over time, but so far it hasn't.
That's
of course.
impossible. That's impossible. No,
I do think it's impossible, yeah. But it's a little fear of mine.
No, you're definitely living and breathing the T2 all the time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Now you got to excuse me. My cybernetic systems, for me to blend in, sometimes give me a sore throat.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right. Well, now we're going to move on to Blue Yoda. What is your lived experience with Terminator 2?
I probably the oldest of you two. I saw it in theaters, in '91.
Lucky bastard.
It was it's difficult to describe because back then, um, everything was amazing, right? Like today, you see
Oh
those
yeah.
superhero movies with Thor and like Superman and whatever, and it's a non-spectacle. It's just the next superhero movie, but it's difficult to describe how a collective audience's jaws dropped on the floor when T2 came out. And when we saw it in theaters, like every time you saw the T1000, everybody was just shocked and amazed. Like the theater would go quiet, just in a shocked awe. And that was the experience.
That would have been cool because that was like there had been a few CG effects before then, but
very few CG effects.
Very few. Like I think Total Recall had a couple.
Total Recall had one, and
yeah,
Terminator 2, and we saw some stuff, of course, in the Abyss, the water creature.
Yeah,
but Terminator 2, nobody had ever seen anything like it before. And it's difficult to describe how that was back in the day when it was still an experience, back when you had to check newspapers, to know when a movie would show. And I went and was just floored like everybody else. And nothing.
Just like the T1000, he was floored.
It was my lucky day. It was my lucky day that day. And I went to see it, I don't know how many times. And subsequently, I rented a Laserdisc player that had the deleted scenes and the extended edition and etc. And those things weighed half a ton, and I had to connect it to my TV. I taped it on VHS. I listened to the soundtrack on cassette, like Casey did, and it was just like an event. It wasn't just a movie; it was an event.
Yeah.
And
that's definitely something I missed.
Before the Terminator, actually.
Oh
so
yeah,
it was
I think that's the same as me.
Out of nowhere.
Me too.
Like, nobody knew about Terminator. It was just another independent movie, like I don't know, Halloween or one of those, Friday the 13th or one of those low budget horror movies. So when T2 came out, I think it created excitement for the first one, and then I saw the first one. I was blown away by that as well, and then I saw T2 in theaters. And I don't know, it's just stuck with me, like Casey was saying. Just the sound, the experience, the story, the humanity of it all. It wasn't just like a explosion fest. The story has a heart, and that's
that's a huge part.
And what I enjoy from it to this day.
How many times would you say you've seen it since? Like,
since?
How many times have you? Yeah,
too many times to count.
Okay, that's good.
I wouldn't
You're
know.
safe.
More than twice.
more than excellent.
Got me beat.
But, I'm a bit in the same boat as Casey there, because I'm working on something right now, and I'm frequently checking out, different scenes, different sounds, but I'm still discovering things. You're safe, Casey. Like just this, last week I was looking at the soundtrack, and when the T1000 time travels to the present, and in the back channels, and the only way you can find that is if you separate all the channels. In the back channels, there's wolf sounds, when he gets to the present. And I never knew that. Like I had to dissect the scene and hear the wolves in the background to say, "Oh, that's kind of clever. That's a good piece of sound."
Yeah, there is some really neat editing, or like the soundtrack to the sound editing in T2 is amazing. Yeah, you just like you say, you only really discover it when you're editing it. Because like me too, like obviously you guys have seen my channel. I got tons of Terminator 2 content as well, so I've been dissecting the film, maybe not quite as much as you guys, but pretty intensively. And and you get to see all the different layering, the different channels, and then you can hear like just the minor little noises they put in the background in scenes. It's just so good. I think my experience with Terminator 2 is going to be pretty similar to you guys. I think more Casey's. I didn't get to see it in the theater because I was only 6 years old when it came out. So this was just before my R-rated movie theater experiences. But we did get the rental when it first came out, and absolutely fell in love with it. It also scared the crap out of me. Obviously, Sarah Connor's dream sequence It's just like embedded in my nightmares, but I love the movie so much. And then I just became a Terminator freak. And right after that, Terminator 1 was on TV, right? Because they used to do that where it's like if sequels released on VHS, the older ones come on TV specials. So we taped that. And I rewatched the hell out of Terminator 1 as well at that point. But then my birthday was coming up. And all I wanted for my 8th birthday was Terminator 2 and Terminator 1 box set. So the VHS box set, it was so wicked. And it had, the cover was like chroma colored. And it was just like Schwarzenegger's face, like, the classic poster where it's half the T-800 endoskeleton and the other half is his face with the red eye. So I got that, and then I wore those tapes out, just watched them so many times, and that I can't count. And it got to the point where it's like, now I don't really rewatch it as much because I can I've scrubbed through it so many hundreds of times in editing, and also I can just play the movie back in my head now. I can just watch the whole movie line for line in my head and like, oh yeah.
I have a question though. Was the VHS more worn out during the hotel scene in T1?
Yes. Yes. Let's just say that 3 seconds of Linda Hamilton's performance really moved me as a child.
Moved you, right?
Yes, it really moved me. But see where we're going with this? I'd say that sequence and maybe the truck chase at the end of T2 are the most worn out sections. There we go. And the future war at the start of T2. So those were the big parts for me. But it was kind of funny. Just preparing for this stream, though, I kind of rewatched T2 again because I was doing preparing my RIP segment that we'll watch later. And I'm kind of at work and I'm like, oh shit, I got to kind of do this quickly. So I watched it at 1.5 speed. That just felt so sacrilegious. I'm just like, oh man, I feel so bad. I'm sorry, T2, watching you 1.5 speed. That's just not right.
Sorry, if you were talking to me, I was I cut out there for a moment. I was grabbing onto a different router to try and
no worries. I was just saying to prepare for this today, I watched it T2 at work secretly at 1.5 speed, but that just felt so sacrilegious watching it at 1.5. I'm like, oh no, it just feels so bad.
Oh yeah.
What's his name? David Lynch would be so mad at me. I'm not really experiencing it. All right, well, so I think we've all seen Terminator 2 more than twice. So let's get into a little bit of the nitty gritty. First, we got to introduce it. So it's time for the title crawl. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
I was born for this.
Excellent.
Oh.
And you guys can talk during this. This is before I'm back, he's back got tiresome. All right.
Star Wars really is at the root of everything, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It started it all. So yeah.
I'm surprised James Cameron didn't get another lawsuit for that one.
I know, well, I think he just, he's always able just to change something just enough. Because if you notice, there's no stars in the background. So it's not space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how he did it.
That's his tricks. Careful. He's a slippery one. That James.
Yeah.
So here we go. The basic Terminator 2 information. 1991. 2 hours and 60 minutes. But I prefer the director's cut, which is what we'll be viewing today. Actually, I'm curious about you guys. Which do you prefer, theatrical or director's?
The extended cut. I wouldn't call it the director's cut.
Yeah, extended cut. Yeah.
Yeah. The theatrical cut certainly was James Cameron's cut, right? Because he made those decisions to remove those scenes.
Oh, okay. That's right. Come with me if you want to live. The good old days when Cameron had testosterone. Yes.
Come on.
That was his awesome hothead days.
Yeah.
But then he went to sea. He got the pressure at the bottom of the ocean kind of does stuff to you, you know. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was his prime. I say Terminator 2 is his peak for me. And I do. Aliens is a close second. T2 and Aliens for James Cameron, and of course T1. Man, he was fantastic from like '84 until True Lies. And I do have a soft spot for Titanic, but obviously it's not the same league. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it is a fantastic film.
It
is. Yeah.
It's basically a remake of A Night to Remember, but
yes,
a well-made remake though.
I don't know if I'm familiar with A Night to Remember.
You don't remember it?
I don't remember A Night to Remember.
Oh my god. It's good.
I think it's basically a movie from the 50s called A Night to Remember, but add Jack and Rose.
Huh. Yeah. I'll be damned.
Yeah. I don't expect the same production level of special effects now.
Okay, that's fair. That makes sense.
But it's a good watch, especially if you're like into Titanic, James Cameron's Titanic.
Okay, yeah.
But I do agree with you. This is second movie T1 up to excluding True Lies is his peak. I think.
That's his peak. That's when he was like he really knew his audience. And yeah, young brash James Cameron. That was his strength. Like the Avatar movies are fun. Like they're fun theatrical experiences, but the Avatar movies are more like a ride than a movie, I find.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought the second one was a little better than I was expecting it to be, but it's not something that I haven't watched it a second time yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
I liked it.
Once was enough, but it was entertainment.
Yeah.
It was like, it's not that I dislike it or that I think it's like terrible, but it's not like I'm going to rewatch it 100 times like Terminator 2 type of level, right? It's different. And actually, I will agree with you. I actually did like the second Avatar story-wise more than the first. I'd say its biggest problem is almost what I want to call the post Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson effect, where it's like he just forgot how to edit, and it's like slim it down, like yeah.
He's juggling many things, but anyways.
Yeah, the Gordon King Avatar.
Avatar is Avatar, and the way I see it is he took everything he learned, everything he ever created, and dumped it into Avatar. I mean, there's even the flying fish. There's so much stuff picked from like all of his past movies, and it's almost you know what the Avatar movies remind me a bit. They're almost more like tech demos.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's interesting.
Because he's really trying to show off all his technology
with the Avatar sequence, just going through the process of making movies rather than the story or the actual storytelling.
Yeah. But luckily for T2, he was at that perfect ripeness and came out July 1st, 1991. I do miss the 90s. And this movie, this is maybe the first great 90s movie, I'd say. Because like in 1990 movies, like for example, Total Recall, I find like more to be the transition from the 80s because they're mostly made in the 80s and then released in the 90s. Where like if something comes out in 91, like T2, it's like, okay, production took place in the 90s. It's a 90s movie. And of course, the music by Brad Fiedel, which is amazing. I love T for Two. If you haven't seen it, he's got a great interview with him on his channel. It's another fantastic video. And then budget was 102 million. Now, was this the? You guys might know. Was this the first major production to go north of 100 million for a production budget?
From what I remember, it was. They made a big deal out of it on TV.
They did make a big deal out of it on TV, and it was all over the trades and everything. But I think that number, my understanding is that number was overinflated for that purpose.
Is that James' ego coming?
I need to. I've been wanting to try and look into this more and learn more about this, because I want to do an episode someday about the budget of T2 and break down to the best that I can. But I saw a couple of interviews where people asked him about that number and how he felt about it and whatever, and you could tell by his reaction. And he it's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something to the effect of, well, sometimes these things are more for marketing.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he said something like, I think it was somewhere more like around 85 million. I'm pretty sure I remember hearing him say that, but it's been a while since I've seen this interview. I'll have to watch it again. But anyway, that's something that I've been kind of trying to work on.
My goodness, leaking books in Hollywood. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Then that was
the difficult thing to evaluate, I think, because T2 also came from the Abyss, where they made the water creature, so some of the technology was already there.
Yeah.
So do you count the investment in that technology and the new? Do you count the marketing?
I'm sure there's some bleed over production to production, like within studios and stuff. And
I never thought about that, but yeah, I bet you're right.
Because I doubt they're perfectly sealed off from each other, right? Because there's a lot of little interaction. Well, even reusing sets and stuff. Wasn't it? It was Aliens. No, Batman. 1999 Batman used some of the sets from Aliens, for example.
Oh,
right? So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, which was
True Lies used one of the filming locations from T2 as well. When the T1000 arrives, James Cameron shot at that location for True Lies as well. So, anyways, it's difficult.
I want to see the circle still in the fence. They never repaired it. Just some tape. So looking at 102 million, and opening weekend 31 million. But again, these obviously aren't adjusted for inflation, so pretty good. But worldwide gross 520 million. That'd be definitely, would we say, over $1 billion today in today's dollars, maybe roughly?
I would sure think so.
Yeah. So a pretty big hit, obviously. But this movie back then also, VHS releases weren't counted in these figures, but that must have been huge afterwards. This was also getting near the peak of rental time, right? So and also fantastic cast as well. So let's run through the cast. So I'm not sure you've heard his name before, but this Arnold Schwartzen. Well, I'm not going to read the last part of that name, but
he should change his name, man. He's never going to make it in Hollywood.
That's way too many letters. He's Arnold Schwartz. There we go. That's a whole name. Arnie Schwartz.
Arnie Schwartz.
And of course, Linda Hamilton. What's always amazing is seeing Linda Hamilton's transformation from the first Terminator to this one. It's a completely different person, completely different character. I think that's just the effect of being married to James Cameron. And Edward Furlong, who was good in this film, because to be honest, actors that age, it's hard to find talented young actors, and he was almost like the classic, what every kid dreams of story, where you just kind of picked out for your first role, and you landed in a freaking Terminator 2. But of course, we know afterwards the fame wasn't exactly a blessing on him, unfortunately. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh boy.
Only, yeah, only some people can say his full name.
I saw an interview.
Agreed, 100%. Jake Ironside, definitely.
I saw an interview with James Cameron, who was asked, "Do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger would be as big a star today? Would he have made it had he not been in T2?" And he answered very humbly that he would have made it anyways, regardless of T2. Of course, T2 accelerated his stardom. He was already a big star. I mean, he was just off Total Recall, but certainly T2 is the movie that cemented him. I mean, he used that catchphrase his entire life. Like, "I'll be back." He's using it to this day.
Oh yeah.
And what a cast. Another thing that is fascinating to me as for Terminator 2 is that he used most of the same people. I mean, William Wisher was back. Brad Fiedel, who was just like some I don't want to take anything away from him, but it would have been easy for James Cameron to decide, okay, let's go with like a big name composer. But
he wasn't a James Horner
type
of person. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And Linda, he could have got. Today we take it for granted. Oh, T2 and Linda came back, but Linda was not a superstar or anything like that. He could have gone in a different direction with different people, but
yeah,
they were done. Same screenwriter, same music composer, same actors. And
Earl Bowen, he brought back Earl Bowen, which I love. I love that he brought. Because
what an actor!
As we all know, this is an Earl Bowen vehicle.
Oh yeah,
that's why everyone comes to see Terminator 2.
Yeah, I've got posters of Terminator 2 theatrical posters from Hungary where Earl Bowen is a big name, and it's his name across the top of the poster. It's
oh my God, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was hoping it's like him, like just like the T800 and Earl Bowen in the poster. Dr. Silverman giving a prescription. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a good cast, and as you're saying, like I would say, like Arnold was big before this because of obviously like Total Recall and Conan and stuff like that. But this is definitely this is peak Cameron and this is peak Arnold. This is his biggest one. And this is the movie that makes him like around the world famous, like where you can go to any country and they know the Terminator 2 poster. They know Arnold from T2. Like here in Japan, it's like, because I teach, junior high school students here in Japan. And obviously Arnold's star has faded a lot, especially with the younger generation now. He's not exactly a TikTok star. And and I'll bring him up sometimes because we have to present people we like and stuff. So I present Arnold Schwarzenegger. I say, "Oh, this is who I liked as a kid. Thought he was so cool." And they're like, "Who?" But then I'll show the Terminator 2 poster, and they go, "Oh, that's so famous. It's still in the cultural zeitgeist. The Terminator 2." So it's interesting, cool. Yeah. Where like if I mention Predator, they won't know. If I mention Conan, obviously they won't know. But Terminator 2, oh, that still rings a bell. Like, oh, okay, my dad watches that, or I've seen that, Then Edward Furlong, poor guy, he did the Jake Lloyd syndrome happened to him.
Yeah.
Of course, the classic thing about his performance though was his voice was cracking while filming, so he had to redub like half his lines afterwards. Now, T for two,
I think, if I recall correctly, except one scene.
Except for one scene, really? Oh, it was that many, man.
I think so. Casey can probably confirm that, but I think the scene under the truck is his original voice, and it's the only scene that they didn't replace because he needed to be vulnerable there because he's confining in Terminator, and James Cameron decided to keep that one, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, and I guess I can't confirm that because I don't know for sure. I've heard the same things about him having to redub most of his lines, but in more recent years, as I've learned more about movies, because I'm a nerd about these things, as you guys clearly are too. Learning about how ADR redubbing lines is so predominant in movies because you just have to. And so I always wonder, like, aren't most of their lines kind of redubbed anyway? Because sometimes you'll see certain clips from the film in the early trailers where their voices sound totally different because they're using the original audio before they did all the ADR. So I always kind of wonder, like, I mean, clearly, he was at an age where his voice, I'm sure, was changing, and I'm sure that they did need to do that. But I wonder if that's really that unusual from the other actors having to
It could have been
redo
maybe
theirs
like
too. I don't
a
know.
little more so than normal, but yeah, there's obviously a lot of ADR, like especially for outside shoots.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Let's get into Robert Patrick. Yes. Robert Patrick, he steals this movie for me. So yeah, Gord King, 100%. I agree. He is a better villain. Well, what's interesting is because he's kind of what the original vision was for T1. So James Cameron's original vision was like, it's kind of like a slender everybody man. And it's like, to be better at infiltrating, right? Because come on, a big hulking Austrian guy comes up to you. It's like, you're definitely hiding an endoskeleton under there, and originally, what was it? Lawrence Fishburne. No, not Lawrence Fishburne. Come on, Ian.
Lance Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen. Thank you. My brain just glitched there for a second. Lance Henriksen was
very similar actors. Understandable.
I mixed up all the time. Yeah. I got the L right. So Lance Henriksen, he was originally going to be the Terminator, but it's kind of too bad. I feel like I'm not taking anything away. Like I think it turned out well. But I just say about Lance Henriksen is it was nice that James put him in the movie anyway as the police officer, right, as the cop. But if he didn't cast in the movie, I wonder would he have been the T-1000 in this? Would that maybe have been his fate if he wasn't cast in T1 in the end?
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Because I wondered, like, because I think he could do it well too, but but Robert Patrick is just fantastic in this film.
Oh yeah.
Like there's all the stuff like how he wouldn't blink, how he tried to limit his breathing, like when he's on shot, and like it comes off so well. And just his little moments of intrigue where he's more than like the T-800, where he's actually kind of almost interested in causing pain and like just like how humans react to like vicious stuff.
Yeah.
So, little bit of like psychopathy in there with him that comes out perfectly.
It's one of those career-defining roles where you incarnate one character and you're known for it the rest of your life. Another actor this brings to mind is Dr. Auer for Blade Runner. One role, and that's it. That's what he's known for. Of course, Robert Patrick was in a lot of movies. He was in the X-Files, and
he's in the X-Files, yeah.
But to me, he's the T-1000. He
was in Die Hard, Die Hard 2. Robert Patrick. He was,
which was a year before, I think.
I think so, yeah. And then, but actually, for a really old example, is I forget her name, but the woman who played the Wicked Witch of the East in Oz. She had that problem where after she played the witch, no one would cast her because everyone saw her as the witch, and that she was like forever. She was forever that role, and that's definitely what became Robert Patrick.
Yeah, Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yes. There it is. Yeah.
I have heard that.
West of all my directions. Yeah. She was after that. She like couldn't get cast, and it was like became such a hindrance. And I wonder if that had a little bit of Robert Patrick's post T2. I wonder if that happened to him because apparently I heard he only got paid like $65,000 for the role. Or this is information that could be, second, third, fourth, fifth hand information. That's
I can't even remember where this is, so I can't get it. But I do have some copies of some internal stuff that kind of showed their pays, and his was. I'm certain it was under $1 million.
That's too bad for such a.
It's his contract where he's paid something like I don't know, X amount of money per day, and you multiply that with how many days you was on set, and then you get that figure of $65,000. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I'm sure over the years it's paid him more.
I hope he gets some residuals. Like I hope the main cast. Yeah. Yeah, and then good. And then of course fifth listed we got Earl Bowen, who is great as Dr. Silberman. You gotta love him, and his cameo in T3 is like one of the only parts of that film I actually really enjoy in like a campy way. I'm like, it's great to see him back. Just and of course he was in The Naked Gun 33 and a third as the therapist, which I think we've talked before, which in my mind, those movies exist in the same universe now. This is part of the Terminator universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, Frank Drebin is definitely living in T2 LA. So
And
we love
T2
it.
was
We
his last
love it.
role, last on-screen role, anyways.
Really, eh?
Yep. Yeah, he ended this on-screen career with T3, and he had so many roles. Earl Bone. I tried to track down
like
everything he did.
lots of
Casey
TV
did a much
spots.
better
And,
job
yeah.
than me at it. But so
Yeah,
many
that
roles.
was a fantastic tribute
Yeah.
you did to him. Yeah.
Oh,
another
thank you.
fantastic video. Yeah. Oh, we got Miskatonic Madman with us here today, too. Fun fact, many years ago, I ran into Robert Patrick. Oh, that's cool. At a shop, and he was wearing his biker jacket, Booze Fighters. Apparently, he's in a biker club. That's awesome.
Yeah, Robert Patrick was struggling with addiction and alcoholism after T2 or during T2.
I think during
And,
T2 as well, yeah.
He
I've
overcame
seen
it,
his...
and that Booze Fighters jacket, he belongs in a, well, it's self-explanatory, basically. So,
Yeah. So like kind of like an AA biker club type of deal.
Exactly. I have a great deal of admiration for him for that. Anyways.
Well, there's that famous picture of like him eating lunch with Edward Furlong, right? I think taken from about like 5 years ago or so. Yeah,
great picture.
He's definitely someone I would love to meet one of these days. Oh yeah, there we go. That's perfect, Jacob Armstein. Say, that's a nice bike. I love that. perfect delivery. And I even like the little bit of like you can see like the breath condensation in that shot. I don't know. I always feel like such a nice touch on that. Yeah, I would still love. I'd love to meet him. Like I've always wanted to meet Arnold. I've always wanted to meet Robert Patrick. And it kind of sucks because like I feel like if you're someone who like lives in like California or something, that's like those type of things are way more doable. But I'm like living in Japan, so it's like the ability, and not Japan, but like even like countryside, middle of nowhere Japan. I'm like super on the fringes, so it's like I have no opportunities to ever meet these people, right? Actually, I'm curious. T for two, you're saying it's cold in your shed. Where are you broadcasting from?
Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
You're in Iowa. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's
Cedar
chilly.
Rapids. That's the entertainment capital of Iowa. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's got the T for two show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, home of WKVS Studios. We bring the what's their tagline? Something about the best entertainment in the Midwest or something. Best in the Midwest, I think is what they say. I can't remember.
That's awesome. Hey, the Midwest gave us MST3K. So
Oh, is that right?
yeah, well they're out of Minnesota. They're out of Wisconsin, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that. That's cool.
Yeah, which is also where Red Letter Media is out of from. So they got a
I'll
good
be
thing
damned.
going there. Yeah. And Blue Yoda, I believe you're broadcasting live from France, right?
No, I'm in Montreal.
Oh, you're in Montreal.
Yeah.
Have you been in Montreal all this time?
Oh yeah, all this time.
Damn, oh my God. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking about the Uninspired Reviewer because he broadcasts out of France. That's what's happening. Yeah.
With whom you did the Return of the Living Dead. I just saw that today.
Yes.
I was a bit mad at myself because this is, along with Terminator 2, is one of my favorite movies. So I was kind of sad I missed that, but I'll give it a listen to. But I would have loved to contribute to that one.
Oh, I would love to have had you on there, man.
I'm from Montreal. It's a common misconception that I'm from France because I'm French and I struggle with my English. Obviously.
Well, we're fellow Canadians then. Oh my God.
Well, my wife taught in Japan, so we have more than a few points in common aside from.
Hey, awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm originally from Vancouver, so yeah. Oh,
My wife is from
MST3K.
Vancouver originally.
Oh, there we go. Say hi for me.
Not exactly true. She's going to Singapore, but anyways, yeah, the cast. We're
And MST3K is based out of Minnesota. Thank you, Gord King.
is.
That's why Minnesota was on the tip of my tongue there. The only time anyone mentions Minnesota. Yeah, it's a wonderful cast. And even what T2 does beautifully, and actually this is pretty common in James Cameron's movies, is even all the minor supporting characters are great. Like all the minor supporting cast members do a wonderful job. Like for goodness sakes, like look at the Lava Factory. How many memes do we have for like Gwen or like, hey Gwen, how about how you want a coffee? How about a beer? Willis and Gwen are fantastic. And then of course everyone's favorite Gibson's. Come on,
Gibbons.
man. Gibbons. Yeah. Wait. Gibbons, here we go.
Come on, man.
Can't leave the desk like that.
Jeanette Goldstein, also who sent shout out to the factory. She's what a queen.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's so cool. She actually got a celebrity endorsement there with her. Yeah,
exactly. It was a cameo. I mean, but she played along. She played along, so that was great.
She's in 3 scenes and stuff. It's good. And actually, because like what's interesting about the T-1000's role is it is not just Robert Patrick. Because we got Jeanette Goldstein is the T-1000 for a moment, and she does that beautiful look and like mimics exactly how he moves perfectly. And same with Lewis, the guard. Even his twin, that man, he's in one scene. He does a great job as the T-1000 for that one moment, kind of watching. And it's like those performances together make such an amazing villain.
I'll give credit to James Cameron for that. Despite his reputation, he knows how to get the exact performance he wants out of his actors.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's a hard ass, but he knows what he wants. Jeanette is in all 3 of my favorite films: Aliens, T2, and Near Dark. Oh yeah, that's right. She is in Near Dark. Ah man, and of course Aliens. She's unrecognizable in Aliens. Like you wouldn't even know that's her. Like it took me.
Still blown. The minds are still blown to this day when I tell them, Jeanette in Terminator 2. It's she's in Aliens as well.
Yeah, I'm always surprised to see that because I feel like that has gone around for so long that hey, this actress and this actress, this character, they're both played by the same person. Every time I see it, I think, okay, yeah, we all know this. But then I'll see tons of comments of people saying, "Oh my God, really?" And so apparently, it's still. Yeah, blowing people's minds, like you said.
Blows people away, yeah.
But there's always something, new fans discovering Terminator 2 or Terminator today. A kid or
exactly.
Someone who hasn't seen it for some reason who discovered these today. So it's always good to remind. Yeah,
like for me, that was like a 15 years ago mind-blown moment. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Vasquez is a badass, again, defined by James Cameron. Like many people say, oh, the strong women in movies. Have you heard of Sarah Connor? But Vasquez is pre.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
she was badass.
James Cameron perfected the female lead badass. Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor and Jeanette Goldstein as Private Vasquez are 2 of the most badass female characters from the 90s. Yes, the 90s knew how to do badass women. Where like. That like these days it's like such a shallow imitation of they're trying to do that, but it's like nope. Yeah, Aliens was her first movie too. And she nailed that role. Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm surprised she didn't become James Cameron's wife too.
I hope James Cameron is not listening. Can you talk about
yes. Oh yeah, I'm sure he's one of the few people following.
One of the biggest villains in cinema history. The guy who licks Linda Hamilton's cheek, and it's the last movie in which he acted. He quit acting after that, and I've always wanted to track him down. Well, not maybe for a mini doc or something, and ask him. Is that why you quit? Did you get hate from Terminator 2 from licking and abusing Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2?
Yeah.
It literally is his last movie role. He stopped after that.
It's like that gut punch with the baton. Well, that wasn't in the script. Well, he met Catherine Bigelow right after Aliens, and she was rather fetching. Catherine Bigelow. Oh, yeah. Well, she ended up directing, what was it, The Hurt Locker? Or... That was her big movie. But the funny thing is, I can't think of what she looked like back then. I have to see an image of that now. That guy was creepy. Yeah, that's an understatement. Miskatonic Madman. That guy was so gross. But when you watch the extended edition, you're like, there's a lot of weird licking in this movie because like you got that scene where he, disgusting security guard licks her cheek. But then you got Miles Dyson working on the computer, and his wife comes behind him, licks his neck. And I'm like, what's going on here, James? What's this little fetish of yours? I'm like, my wife's never come up behind me and licked my neck. Oh my God. If I did that to her, my balls would be on the floor. So yeah, I wonder what's going on there, James.
Yeah, you have to tie her up to the bed and force.
yeah. There we go. I need to get the restraints. Catherine Bigelow directed Near Dark. Oh my God, Point Break. Because I knew The Heart Locker, Zero Dark 30. Okay, she was a beautiful woman. Well, I got to see a picture of her. I guess you don't really see directors' faces as much as actors, so I gotta check it out. Point Break's a wicked movie. We're all
getting older.
I know we're all getting older, but
I'm not as handsome as I'm not as handsome as I was when I watched T1 and T2 in theaters.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are cybernetic organisms that are programmed to blend in and age. It's really it's really terrible.
That's right.
I'll stop you there. I'm old, but not obsolete.
Well said.
Best female director of all time. Yeah. Strange Days as well. Yeah. Man, she had such a wicked filmography. Nice.
Yeah, Strange Days. I think James Cameron wrote that.
Oh, really? He wrote that? Oh, man, I'm learning all sorts of stuff today. Well, I think now it's time for talking about learning stuff. It's time for our word of the day. Are you ready?
Oh.
So on this channel, we all learn one new Japanese word. And here is today's Nihongo. No, I don't have to explain why, but that's a touchy word in Japan. They have some legitimate T2 experience. It's genbaku, so atomic bomb. So say it with me, genbaku.
Genbaku.
All right. So, and obviously that is the most traumatic experience of T2 is the nuclear explosion scene. This really incited my fear of nuclear war was this movie. Oh my God. I always made an excuse to leave the room during that scene. So I'm like, oh man, I need to refill my cola. Or, oh man, I'll be watching my friends. Like, oh, I need to get more Kraft dinner. I think for people that aren't Canadian, Kraft dinner is mac and cheese.
I have heard about this.
Yeah. So I got to go get, of course, Blue Yoda.
Absolutely. I actually left. I bought a Yoda. They had a Star Wars Attack of the Clones macaroni promotion a few years back, and I left it in the sun for about a year so that Yoda would turn blue.
Oh my God!
I'm very familiar with that.
By a few years back, Attack of the Clones. Do you mean about 20 years back?
Yeah.
That's just a few years back now.
Yeah.
I still have that box relatively close by. I might fetch it. But nuclear war. This my fear started with The Day After. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie. And this probably made a big impression on James Cameron as well, because that came out, I think, in 1983. And Terminator came out in 1984. And in that movie, you see the results of a nuclear explosion, some of which is there's actually one shot of Los Angeles that's very, very similar as in T2. And you'd think it's from the same movie. And that certainly ignited my fear of a nuclear war. But T2 brought it to another level with that sequence there. What a nightmare-inducing sequence.
Have you guys heard about this movie, Threads? It's apparently Mr. Madman says this is a good nuclear war film.
Equivalent. Yeah.
I gotta watch that. I've never seen that. Nothing real life right now scares me about atomic war. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing going on right now that's threatening atomic war at all. It's a little nostalgic. It seems like everyone's nostalgic for the 80s now, even the politicians. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Because it's interesting because like obviously Blue Yoda, you're a little older than us. Like I'm 39, but it's like even us, and I'm guessing we're probably similar age. I'm guessing there, Casey is. We grew up kind of that tail end of the Cold War era, but there was like still that residual feelings of Cold War. Obviously, like so much of the entertainment we watched was Cold War related, Cold War based action films. So that real threat of nuclear war is just pounded into us. We never did the duck and cover in school, though. I never had that.
Yeah, no, we made it past that.
I'm old enough that we actually did. The day after was shown in schools. So we actually had an entire day devoted to nuclear war and what would we do if that actually happened. And we did the duck and cover thing.
Nuclear War Day. Was there like banners up and like festivities? It's Nuclear War Day.
It was very, very scary. So when something like Terminator 2 came out and you saw these graphic scenes of like the city being annihilated and Sarah being blown away by that fire wave, it was just re-traumatizing, and it certainly contributed to, the impression left on me.
Oh man, yeah, it's still deep down inside, that feeling, like that kind of like back of your brain fear is always going to be there from these films.
I don't know why today.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing reminding us today, right, Jacob Ironside? And here is the best logo in cinematic history.
It's not like Terminator we don't have any Terminator today. It's not like we have autonomous robots.
We don't have any AI today as well, or like anything that's Terminator themed, or companies coming out with robots. Oh wow, we got Northern English Bastard here today. Welcome. Which is the best version, the theatrical or special edition? See, I'm going to go special edition because, which is actually the one I got queued up here. I'm curious to know what people in the chat like, the theatrical or the special edition. The reason why I like the special edition more is I like the elements. My favorite parts are the T-1000 starting to glitch. I love the like pretty much the frost damage. Like he was frozen and shattered, and he has that, grabs the hand railing, his hand gets stuck, blends in the colors, his feet on the ground, and makes sense. Like he's had this major damage done to him, and I think that adds something. And I like also, although the ending is cheesy, like the ending is cheesily done, like the costume design is not exactly the greatest for the end sequence of Sarah Connor. It closes the story. I'm like, yes, story's closed. Like that could have prevented T3 and T5 and T6. They just had that one scene added. That's a great logo. Yes, this logo was my childhood. Seeing this T2 starting, and of course, also it's before Total Recall. Like, how could you not love it more? Oh yes, and giving some hellos. What do you think? Let's start with Casey. T for 2. What do you feel?
Well, to answer the question directly, which is the best version? I think the best version is whichever one makes you happiest and you enjoy the most. But for me personally, it's interesting. So like Etienne, when you talk about renting the Laserdisc or a Laserdisc player and seeing all the deleted scenes back in the day, I didn't know about those deleted scenes until after DVDs came out, and I got the Ultimate Edition DVD set off of eBay. And I remember the eBay, the seller, he included a little typed up sheet that he printed out explaining, hey, here's how you get to the extended special edition version. You got to type in this code and stuff.
Oh,
and so
I had that DVD. Because there was the there was the theatrical edition, the extended edition, and then the special extended edition. And on the menu, there was this thing that looped. And if you did a code on, it was like a Skynet logo. And you had to
do you remember the code, Casey?
8/29/97.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Date of
Day.
Day.
Yeah, and And so, I remember when I saw that for the first time, then of course, for several years, my favorite was the special edition or the extended special edition, because it's like my all-time favorite movie. And suddenly it's fresh and it feels new and there's more to absorb. But then after so many years, I did start to, I love the special edition, but if I had to pick one, I prefer the theatrical edition, I think, just because there are a few things in the extended special edition that I think does kind of slow it down a little bit, but I'm not complaining or criticizing it. I still think it's terrific. But if I have to pick one, it would be the theatrical edition. I agree with you, though, that I think the perfect version would still include some bits from the special edition, because like you say, with the glitching out of the T-1000, I mean, I can see James Cameron's perspective. My understanding is that he removed those scenes because it not only did it kind of slow things down a little bit at the end, but it gave a little bit of hope to the audience, and he didn't really want them to have that, and that makes sense. But visually, it is just so damn cool. Like when his hand melds with that bar that has the safety tape on it, just so damn cool. So. And of course, the resetting the switch scene, everybody loves that one. So
yes, that's a big one too. And actually, Jacob here says he likes the mirror scene. That'll be the resetting the switch. Yeah, good stuff. So I like both. Yeah, but I prefer the theatrical. The resetting the switch scene. Why I like that one though is it's a good character development scene between John and Sarah.
Yeah, for sure. It's more than just, hey, it looks cool and it's interesting. There's some important stuff in there. Yeah.
Super important. I prefer personally the theatrical version, but super important stuff in there. It's the moment where John takes leadership and where he actually tells his mom, like, I'm going to be this great leader. Let me take my decisions now. Will you trust me with this or not? So it's a transfer of the power or the leadership or where the future is going. And it's super important for that. I mean, you get it from the other scenes around it in the theatrical, but definitely a few nice scenes were lost. But I'm theatrical all the way for me.
I would say my perfect edition would be, let's say, the theatrical cut, except with the the CPU scene and John taking the balance of power starting to switch between Sarah and John, and the T-1000 glitching out. That would be like my perfect cut. I would feel, because there's the scene where the T-1000, he's like feeling around the room and stuff. It's like, we don't quite need that, and he sees that the dog's name is Max, which is, it's cool to watch it, like it's fun to see it. But I agree, you don't exactly need that. But I do feel the CPU scene and the glitching scenes actually add more, and would have been preferable to have in it. Oh, we definitely don't need the smiling scene where he's practicing the smile. We can cut that out
for sure. Yeah, I think that's the easiest one to cut, followed by searching John's room.
Yeah, those are the easy ones to cut out. Cut those out. Don't need those.
And I'll throw in here too. For me, the ending, a lot of people kind of shit on the future Coda scene, but for me, I'm almost kind of 50-50 between that and the final theatrical ending, because I love the idea of the future being left open and that message of the Black Highway at Night. That's a fantastic message, and I'm totally fine with it. But I also really like them being able to wrap up like, hey, we made it. We did it. It was worth it. We don't
need to make more sequels.
That too. But also just on its own, like, and seeing her being able to watch her son play with her granddaughter, we survived to this point, and it's such a happy ending. And I mean, every now and then I see people kind of shit on the makeup job that they did on her, but I don't know. I think it looks fantastic.
I did a comparison of Linda, the actual Linda.
Oh yeah.
Today.
And, today, and she actually looks prettier today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You should check out the original drafts of
well.
The Enrique scene. In one draft, it was the old BF Sarah used to sleep with in order to learn. Whoa, what? I didn't hear about this.
Oh yeah. This actually, I'm working on an episode of the show about this someday. I'm really excited about.
Well, that's interesting. Thank you, Northern English bastard. That's some good trivia there. Yeah. And he also says he loves the context.
An old boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, here's what I've had. I've had a Mandela effect on this movie for years. I swear that I saw, like, when the T-1000 goes to talk to John's foster parents. I swear that I saw a scene where it's Arnold talking to the parents. This has like always been in my mind. I must have had a dream about it as a kid, but I've always had this Mandela effect that there was a scene of Arnold at the front door talking to the parents as well. And I don't know why that's...
I almost feel like, was that in the novelization or anything like that?
It might have been. I think that might be where it's from, because I read that as a kid, the novelization. And sometimes...
Okay. Because I'm not 100%, but I kind of feel like I can picture that scene. Like I'm not saying that I saw it, but that it was either in the comic or the novelization, or I don't think it was in the script, but maybe
it had to be in something. And kids' vivid imaginations, right? And you can see it so clearly, right? And that's always just been stuck with me. I'm like, I swear. But all right, well, let's get into our favorite movie logo here, and
I've always had fun imagining that scene, though, in my head, like where there's a gigantic biker dude ringing on their doorbell, and is John Connor here?
Yeah.
As a foster parent, wouldn't you have a few questions? Like, oh, there was this guy looking for him earlier. Do you know anything about that? Like, doesn't that ring any alarms for you? Like,
who are you? I'm John's social studies teacher. You should check out the original drafts of the Enrique scene. Oh yeah. So we use that. That's some great trivia there. And we got Canadian Spider-Man, another Canadian here. So we got 3 Canadians. Awesome. Listening while getting stuff done. Thanks, Canadian Spider-Man. I hope you enjoy listening in. All right. We got some
speaking of the original Enrique character, I'm working on an episode about that someday when I get back to doing new episodes of the show, because it's really interesting. Like, originally it was Gant was the name of the, I can't remember the details. He was like a former, he was a guerrilla or whatever. And he had instead of this kind of shitty little weapons compound, he had kind of an elaborate military ranch. And they actually, they really went really far with that before they changed it, because I've got some tapes, some camcorder tapes that I guess probably nobody's seen since 1990 that I'm in the process of digitizing so I can share them on the show, but it's location scouting tapes. And there's some footage.
I want to see those.
I'm really excited to share them. And one of them, it was this fancy Mexican villa, or a couple of them that they were looking at. And I thought, what the hell is this? Are they looking for Dyson's house, or what are all these fancy Mexican homes? And finally I realized that they were looking for the nice Mexican villa that was going to be Gant's ranch. And so I have those, and there's some storyboards that weren't used from when the T-1000 shows up and kills Gant, and all these different things. There's really interesting stuff that I really can't wait to dig into and share with people. It's cool stuff. I want
to, for anyone that's right now in the chat right now, look up T for Two, just T for Two, and you'll find his channel. It's just really good stuff. It's awesome. Oh, North English Bastard says the aging makeup on old Sarah didn't bother me. It was just the look of the non-nuclear family scenes that seemed out of place with the rest of the movie. Or what got me was just the the look, like the clothing was so hokey. That's what got me. It was the fashion, the clothing was so hokey. Yeah. Hey, and hello there. Awesome. Yeah. Anyway, best opening shot of all time. I love this traffic jam on the highway. And you guys saw my tribute to it. I might show that later.
Yeah.
Animating that was so much fun. I just wanted to put that together. And there's the famous stalled out car on the side there. Doesn't even know he's in the movie.
I've always wondered that. Like every time the movie plays, is he like, that's me right there.
That's me. Oh my God, I remember that day. My wife was being such a bitch. Then we got the classic Future War scene here. This is what we've all wanted a feature-length movie for. Salvation. Yeah. I like Salvation more than most, I think. People didn't like it because they thought it was like too different from this vision of the future. But that was a planned trilogy, and what I always speculated in my mind was that by the third installment, it was going to become this. And I'm still mad that instead of sequels to Salvation, we got T5 and 6. Ugh. Don't get me started on that. Yeah, so fantastic opening battle sequence. Watched this 1,000 times. The nuclear inferno. This movie is just beautiful. And then we get our naked Arnie shot, which is the staple, of course. The only scene in the special edition I'd keep in the theatrical cut would be the Dyson scene. Oh, that's a good scene too, actually. Yeah,
I agree, my man.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Shows that he's just a good guy. Yeah, yeah. That actually is. I like that character scene too, and also it gives him more depth. Yeah, and he's not like a warmonger and stuff.
As one of the biggest sacrifices in the movie, right? He has an actual arc where he thinks he's doing the right thing. He realizes that his work is going to be used to destroy the world, basically, and he sacrifices his life to humanity. And this is understated. I really wish that scene was back in the movie.
Well, and actually, I think it's also the special edition. A good scene is when he takes the axe and smashes apart like the larger.
Smashes apart his life's work.
His life's work. I think that should have been kept in the theatrical too.
That is a powerful pound for pound. As short and as powerful as that is, I mean, that's one of the most powerful moments in the movie if you're really thinking about what you're seeing when it happens.
Yeah, no, I love that shot. It's kind of funny. Start thinking about like all these good scenes start flowing into your head. After subsequent viewings, I'm growing to like Terminator Salvation, even though it's a flawed film. Exactly. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's flawed, but you really get the sense that they were serious about the Terminator franchise and they were trying to go in a different direction, a direction the fans wanted. And it's got a pretty good production design. And I love the T600. After the T800 and T1000, by far my favorite Terminator is the T600 in Salvation. We didn't see enough of it. But
before the TX? Are you kidding?
I know why you like the TX. What do men like?
I like that this scene, like you were saying, Casey, earlier that, I hope I never get tired of watching T2, but I always discover, to this day, I still discover new things. And you guys might know this, go back a little, but when Arnold travels back to the present, in the flash of the time bubble, the truck changes. It's not the same truck. And I just noticed that like last week. Maybe
I never noticed that.
Maybe you knew for years, but I just noticed that last week. So there's always new things to discover while watching this movie.
Oh, that's cool. The Sarah Connor Chronicles was the best continuation. Yeah, I say this with shame because I've been saying this to myself all the time. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles one of these days because it came out when I was still snobby about TV. I'm like, the TV show version. This is a movie series, back when TV still had that feeling of like it was going to be a lower tier of quality, right? But I got to get over that. I'm going to watch it one of these days. Yeah. I wish James Cameron would stop coming out with new versions in different shades of blue. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he loves his blue gels, that man. His blues and his reds.
Here's Robert Winley right there.
Also, seeing Gord King and Ironside are good guys I've streamed with. Yeah, they are. I've streamed with Gord King too. He's good. And I'm going to stream with Ironside soon. And since they're on here, I've subbed and I will try to check out more of your content. Oh, thank you. Yes, Northern English Master. I think you'll enjoy it. Got lots of Terminator stuff, Tremor stuff, cartoons. And yes, and also sub to Blue Yoda and T for 2. They got wicked content as well.
Now that you're subbed to Fermented Cinema, definitely don't miss his those animated shorts, Last Day Stories, right?
Yes, Last Day Stories. Yeah.
God, I love those. They're just fantastic.
I got another one in the works coming up right now. It's 40% complete. It is it's for Infinity War, and it's going to be with the Snap.
Oh yeah, I've seen a few of your previews about that one. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
But also written down, this probably won't come out to sometime next year because these things take time, is I got one for this guy, the biker guy.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, so he's got one coming too eventually. Nice. I got the whole script written out. Yeah, because this is one of my favorite cameos of all time. It's just, you didn't say please. And of course, I love the meme. May I please have your bike and your clothes? Next panel, he's got it all. Yeah, and again, your video on him was fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I wrote a terrible fan short story with him. Ended up with cancer in the hospital because when the T-800 scans him, like he has this about cancerogen element or something like that.
Carcinogenic something or other.
Something or
So the smoke, you see that come up. He blows the smoke.
Carcinogenic vapor. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just dying in the hospital, and he shits himself. And the nurse asks, like, "Do you want to change? Do you want me to change?" And he's like, you forgot to say please, and he croaks. Terrible short story.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I don't blame you for being skeptical on being on TV. Yeah, there are some filler episodes. Yeah, that's the problem. Lots of TV shows get, like, unless it's a really tightly written show, a lot of filler episodes. Summer Glau is female Terminator and Sarah Connor Chronicles. All right, now I gotta watch.
Oh yeah,
I'm seeing some love coming out for the Chronicles
before the T600, please.
I've been doing some Infinity Saga reviews daily on my channel. Oh yes. The Snap video is going to be out in December, so that's the plan. It's going to be out in December. It's going to be my big release for that month. So yeah, please watch and share that when it comes out. It's hard for me competing with all those AI generators. It takes me months to put a cartoon together. Instead, people are just typing in a few prompts and they're done.
I very appreciate your handmade work, though, compared to that. I love it. I'll always appreciate that far more.
Well, to me, that's the fun part. I love, like, drawing and doodling is fun, and coloring. Like, yeah. That's the good stuff.
Huge respect for that.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. Well, we got another great cameo with this guy. Although for the longest time as a kid, I didn't know what the hell he was saying. I thought he said, like, you're taking the man's wheel cycle. I think Arnold's like, I was like, your wheel cycle, is that like American for motorcycle? And then, like, Arnold walks up to him. He says, like, and now I know he says, "That's it, goddammit." But I heard him say, "That's Zeke's, goddammit." I'm like, oh, the biker's name is Zeke. Okay. So.
This is good stuff. I love hearing people's misheard quotes that they've heard it, like, when they heard it that way for years. That always fascinates me because we all have them.
Yeah. And it's just fun finally to watch the subtitles. You're like, oh, that's what he's saying. All right.
That guy's character's name is Lloyd, by the way.
Is Lloyd. All right.
Lloyd.
Yeah. Lloyd's also going to be in that next Terminator cartoon. The whole biker bar is.
Oh, wonderful.
And I don't want to spoil too much, but it may also cross over with the Big Lebowski.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Yeah. So yeah, keep an eye. That's gonna be next year. All right. Next year's big release. Yeah. I don't want, man. It's gonna be the most complicated one. I'm just thinking about, like, animating. I'm like, oh my god.
Coming up is the Robert Patrick testicles scene.
Yes. We'll skip past that because thank you 4K. We got 4K testicles.
I think they erased it for the 4K though.
Yeah, they put like a little rock in front of it, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lena Headey. Yes. I know her. Yeah, she's cute. Yeah. Yes. See, we all love strong females. Yeah, and here we go. We got Todd. I feel for Todd a little bit. He just wants to relax on the couch, but damn, wife and kids are just. And I got him. It's actually like the funny thing is, like, these days, looking at his house, I'm like, damn, they're loaded. They own a house in LA.
Oh man, yeah.
He was probably just a shoe salesman and could afford this house,
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we're going to skim through this pretty quick because I got some more stuff I want to talk about later. Here we are at the...
this woman on the left.
Yeah.
This is
the giraffe.
coach.
Really?
The giraffe.
I swear,
The giraffe.
there's a
Oh,
bunch
boy.
of giraffes working at this hospital. There's this lady and the guy that both have like extended necks. I don't know what's going on.
This woman actually, her mom was Casey. You know about this probably, but Arnold got English lessons from her mom, and she became Arnold's fitness coach. Kind of. She wrote a book that I bought and that I have yet to read, unfortunately. But yeah, she's also in another one of Arnold's movies. I forget which, but no small parts. You know, the cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right that I knew that, but I mostly knew that because you told me about it a while back. I knew a few
Terminator-
bits.
Oh
What's
my
that?
God. I taught you something about Terminator 2.
Oh, sure, yeah, you've taught me several things.
No way.
But yeah, I knew a few bits about that. I knew that she was his assistant, but you brought me a lot of details my way that were really fascinating.
Now here we go. Do you
Yeah,
have
a
a
lot
picture
of
of John?
Arnold's fitness philosophy today that he's pushing forward comes from her, actually.
Wow.
All right. Now I want to show one thing. I made my own meme for this sequence. I think it's maybe the greatest one I've ever done. This is this one right here, powered by Google Gemini AI. Last name Connor, first name John, race Caucasian. There's the image that comes up. Do you have a picture of John?
Obviously, the AI would provide that.
Yes. That was hilarious, that scandal where it like wouldn't make pictures of white people. So it's
One
just-
of my, like, obviously, I have many favorite scenes in the movie, but this is one of my favorite scenes just on how Robert Patrick nailed.
oh
being
yeah.
really kind, serviceable, but having that creepy sort of vibe.
There's still
You can't put a finger
there's
on
still
it,
like
but
there's
something off about him.
he does Uncanny Valley just so naturally, where it's like where he's like being like, oh, really relatable and nice and proper, but yeah, there's still like a creepy vibe under it, right? It's so beautifully done.
Like, you can't
Yeah,
say
he's-
no to him, but there's something off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of playing a robot pretending to be friendly.
Yeah, exactly. He's AI. He's our current generation of AI, essentially.
Like the
And then we
perfect
got-
pause after each sentence. Do you have a picture of John? Like, with
Yes,
that little
yes, there we go.
but
There's the
that isn't
picture. Yes.
exactly concerned. It's just like, can you help me out here? And like, what a wonderful performance. One of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. I also love how he reprised it for Wayne's World Part 2.
Yeah.
You have a picture of. Have you seen this boy? And I remember, like, as back in the '90s when that came out, I had the VHS of both, and trying to see, is it the same picture he shows that he's given of John? No, it's not. Damn it.
Yeah.
And then there's his friend here, which is his name's Tim, right? Apparently, and
Yeah.
although I don't think they ever say it. What's funny is his friend is, I think he starred in the movie Hatchet. Now I might be wrong, but I feel like that might have been him. Now here's a scene that I'm so happy was cut. I'm sorry, Michael Biehn. I love you, Michael Biehn. But the flashback to him with Sarah didn't work.
Yeah, I think I
How do you
agree.
guys feel?
I like it, but yeah, it definitely does not need to be in there. It's a really awesome way to connect the two movies and really make it like these are two halves of one whole story. But yeah, it's definitely not needed.
What do you think, Blue Yoda?
I love the sentimentality of the scene, but Cameron isn't great with intimacy.
Mm.
It's like that
Mm.
teeny cut in T1.
There was no intimacy
Kyle
trainer
starts crying.
coordinator
Oh, the
on
world
set.
The world is so beautiful and all these trees, and I've never seen that. And why?
Yeah.
Oh,
Why, Sarah? And it's too much. And this
Yeah.
is how I feel about that scene.
Yeah.
I really like it, but I'm glad it was cut.
Yeah, agreed.
R.I.P. Earl Bowen. Yeah, we miss him. I found out he was in Batman. Yeah. TSA voicing Scarface's heavyset goon Reno. That's cool. Yeah, he did lots of voice work too. Yeah. All right, and man, Northern English Bastard. I love the fact that in the first, the Terminator's inhumanity is exposed more as the movie progresses. But in the second, the Terminator becomes more human. Yeah, that is a like some people don't like the fact that Arnold became the good guy in this, but I like it.
Oh, I
like
love it.
I love it. I think it works beautifully. I think it's great, and I love watching. As a Northern English bastard just stated, it's fun seeing him kind of learn his humanity or learn of humanity. It's perfect for the theme of the film.
And reminding Sarah of her own humanity.
Of her own humanity, yes.
She becomes a Terminator in the second one, right?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, like Sarah pretty much becomes just a cold-blooded terminating killer, right? And it's interesting. Then in reverse from Arnold, she learns a little more humanity again. It's
complete loss of her eyes when she puts those goggles to kill Dyson.
Yeah,
and that's exactly how Arnold is revealed to become more human when that guard smashes her half his glass off, and you see one of his eyes, and he becomes sort of more human from that point on. So that's one of the things that I really appreciate from T2.
Yes, the dream sequence is one reason why the theatrical is better. Yeah, I think for me, like as I said, like I like seeing Michael Biehn, but I just feel that dream sequence. I understand the thematic reason for it, but unlike some of the other sequences from the extended cut that I really like, I feel that scene interrupts the flow too much, the pacing of the film. That's definitely a pacing issue, that scene. Now here we go. Dr. Silberman, he kept to his word, damn it, from T1, and he's making his career. Look at this. Look at the budget they got spent on her, recording her and everything, man. Like that's big back then. Tape was expensive. Yeah, and then we get Dyson here looking at, and of course, this is the famous Terminator time paradoxes, right? Is like if they never had these, how would Cyberdyne and Skynet be created, and then how would it ever come back, right? So there is that time issue. I'm sure some super nerd somewhere out there has managed to fit everything together. Some string theory theologists.
Well, the only way to resolve it is if Stan Morsky is John Connor's father.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Otherwise, for the technology, I mean, eventually we would get there. It's not because of time travel, but like we obviously never had Terminators in the real world, but you know we have autonomous robots coming, and the only changing is that it just makes it earlier. So with the time travel, they just get access to the technology earlier, and it's one of my well, no, you can't explain it anyways. James Cameron in one interview explained how he thinks time travel works in a realm of quantum possibilities, and I do believe that's what we see in the Terminator movies.
Yeah, you could go that way where it's like there's so many branches of the timeline and some of them intersected. Yeah. Then we got Jake Marstein saying the T-800 is emulating John's humanity. John's humidity. Woo! I like it, Jacob. Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah. And of course, we got the true savior of humanity being Tim here. Didn't rat him out to the cops. Yeah. And then, oh my God, we got the poor Pepsi man. Oh, he really wanted his Pepsi. Where is he?
Man, his last day story that you did was fantastic.
Oh yeah. You guys are here. Make sure I don't get a copy. Pause it. Oh no! There he goes. The poor bastard. Just wanted that Pepsi.
He saved humanity. Maybe he caught a bullet that was destined for John, you know?
Oh,
You could say Pepsi is refreshing and saved humanity.
Yeah.
That's just so fun noticing the product placement in this movie. Like as a kid, it's like so over your head, you don't see it. But like how like the cops have like Subway when they're like talking to Sarah at the hospital, like Subway cups, and And which makes it funny because now I imagine them just eating their Subway dinner in front of her as they're interviewing her. This is a good meatball sub. Do you want some, Sarah? Here we go. This is one of the greatest chase sequences of all time.
Oh yeah.
And as a kid, because in Vancouver, we don't have things like this, right? We don't have like these bizarre cemented waterways. So I found LA so fascinating as a kid. Just like, what the hell is this? Like, they have these bizarre concrete rivers and stuff. Like, do you guys have anything like that in Montreal? Like these spillways like this, or?
Absolutely not. But in Singapore, where my wife is from, they do have those, because they have flash floods, and if they didn't have those, like, the city would be flooded basically. So
Wow.
Okay, yeah, because I find these interesting. How about up there in Iowa? Do you got any these like type of canals?
No, sir, nothing quite like that.
Nothing
and
you
these
can ride
canals
your.
have been used in other movies. I think. Grease, if I
Tons.
recall correctly.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's the famous bigger one that has like all the nice bridges over it that kind of goes near downtown.
Yeah.
Which is in like countless movies. Yeah, these are like all over LA. It looks like. John's friend saved humanity by not ratting out his friend. I know, he's the true hero. The specky lad who pointed him out can burn in hell. Yeah, that little beanpole guy. Yeah, he's right over there. Huh? Yeah.
And the specky lad who ratted him out, the actor's name was Jeff with a G. I can't remember the last name, but he wrote, I don't have any handy that I could pull up, but he wrote the Terminator 2 fan club newsletters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I had no idea.
The real life Terminator, the typo. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, I've never once in my life have I wanted to write ducking, but damn you, autocorrect. Check out the behind the scenes footage of this chase. I've seen that. Yeah. Behind the scenes footage of this movie is awesome. I miss movies that took H&S risks and lives. Yeah. See, this is what we don't get in movies anymore. It's like, I love these action sequences, like actually like filming it. Like, you see the behind the scenes of like the jump when Arnold goes off the ledge and into the gully here. Yeah. Oh, it's just fantastic. And here was our introduction into like real, like this was CGI used perfectly. Right, like just enhance and just for these super special sequences like this. Yeah.
Look at the shadows on the floor there.
Oh yeah, no, it still looks great. Like Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park. Like the CGI is like better than most modern movies. It's like they took time. And then this is when John realizes he has his own Terminator. Here's like a short snippet deleted scene.
Yeah.
This is definitely one we didn't need because it just shows how he got his next ride.
Nice bike.
Yeah. Oh, this here. Do you got a quarter? Then John just uses the Terminator to steal coins from fucking payphones for the rest of the movie.
This goes on a payphone smashing spree.
Yeah. And then we got here's creepy AI, which we have now is the voice, just straight out copying the voice, right? And I love that the name Wolfie for a dog was like in his database.
Yeah.
That was Wolfie. Although what does bug me about this scene is the T-1000's listening. And he just covers the phone like this. I'm like, it just speaks so loud in his normal voice. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the T-1000 is good enough hearing sensors to pick that up over the phone.
The only time we talk, actually. It's two robots trying to convince each other.
Yeah, the dogs,
that is very cool to think about.
And he just covered it. He just hears, "What's the real name?" How's Wolfie?
A lot of people have said that if instead John had said, "Oh, you're making beef stew? Awesome, we'll be right there," and hung up, the T-1000 would just like wait at home making beef stew and making conversation with Todd.
And maybe Todd's like, You know it's Thursday night. You know what you give me on Thursday night? Damn it. There's so many behind the scenes we can, or like missing scenes we can add to the Terminator. The days when the stunt driver couldn't eat anything 24 hours before the stunt in case he had to go to surgery. Yeah, that's when people had love for their craft. You know, I got to say, like that was real dedication. I think what was it? Road Warrior is a good reason why you do that. The guy that like shattered his leg on the stunt, he had to go to surgery after.
Yeah, Peter.
I love this. Yeah. I love the scene later because when we see that John stops being a cocky brat and realizes the responsibility he has to carry. Yes, this is a big moment. This is one of the big like maturing moments for John coming up here. It's a big moment for Todd too because he gets sliced through his head.
I'm sad for the Joshes. Like, what did they do to deserve getting their hands broken? And they were.
I know, yeah. Jocks here. I feel bad for them too. Yeah, and whenever I see those jocks, I pictured them as Roddy Piper and oh come on, I'm bad with my names today. From They Live, Roddy Piper and Keith David. That's why I picture the jocks are.
I'm not gonna be able to unsee that now.
Yeah, especially when you see it. Let's see if we right there they are. So it's Roddy Piper and Keith David come over to save them. Yeah.
Poor guy got his hand crushed. I mean, hands are delicate. They have many bones.
Fuck you little dipshit.
Did you call moi?
Yeah, moi.
The French in there.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yes, that's for your benefit. And then we got him perfectly rolling up. Oh my! Like it's so creepy. He's so great.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Now I'm gonna again my bad with names right now. I feel like the T-1000, so like a young Robert Patrick and the killer from No Country for Old Men, they should have a stare off.
Oh wow, that'd be something.
That's a movie. Yeah. Put on the damn sunglasses. Yeah, don't worry about that. That's right. Yeah, he picks the guy up by the hair too. It's like,
yeah.
That's such a bitch move. Then we got this sequence here. Oh my god. I remember my dad raved about that scene of him morphing up from the floor. My dad was so spellbound, but now in retrospect, I now realize my dad was probably high when he watched this. Because again, we're from the West Coast, and let's say my dad, as a kid, I didn't know he had a little patch in the garden for himself, and sometimes before movies, he liked to get a little high. So, because I still remember him watching Star Wars with me, and I remember him like just seeing the aliens, and he was like, "Whoa, could you imagine those were like your friends?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Now I get it. And poor Lewis, he just wanted to eat. It was his lucky day. But we're happy with. See, this sucks. Lewis gets killed, but Doug doesn't. Doug just gets injured.
Doug
that's life.
Apparently, Linda Hamilton actually hit him in the face with that broom handle there.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You know?
Yeah, because in the scene where in the deleted scene where they force her to take medication, he kept holding back his hit, and Linda every time had to drop to her knees, regardless. And James would like, this is not believable. Do it again and do it again and do it again. And Linda Hamilton became like really irritated. So when it was her turn, she apparently actually hit the guy in the face with the handle.
That's hilarious. So it wasn't for the lick in the face, which James insisted they filmed 20 times. And this poor guy here, his poor knees. Oh, God, watching this is so painful. Oh, man, getting shot twice in the knees. Hamilton really learned to lockpick here. She did not fuck around about it and even suggested Sarah should be crazy. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Speaking of the lock picking too, that was one of the things. So one of the other alternate cuts of Terminator 2 is one of the early home video releases for the UK, where they removed a lot of things, a lot of little things. And to my surprise, that was one of them, is the shots of her picking the locks, because they didn't want people to learn how to pick locks.
Really, eh?
That's
funny.
like trimmed out.
That's
Yeah. The guy playing the guard here, his twin brother. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, his twin plays the T-1000. That's movie magic. Yeah, I love that. And talk about identical twins. My God, those guys are a mirror image. So
And
that's kind of
Gremlins 2 as well.
yes.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. It's just so fun though to think, like, remember that scene where I killed you, like in Terminator 2, like your twin, little twin rivalry going on there. Yeah. If I ever get hired to beat up Little Hamilton in a scene, I'll go full force with my own safety. Yeah.
You know, I wonder, I never thought about this, but when the twins were getting ready for those scenes, like, or I guess beforehand when they were being cast, did they both have to do their best cold-hearted robot impression and the casting director chose one, or did they just say, you can do it, you can do this better than me, or, you know, I wonder how that went.
Yeah, I wonder it's like, you know, you're better, is their names like Dan and Dawn? I think it is. It's like
Dan and Dawn Stanton.
Yeah, and it's like, Dan, you're a little warmer. I think you're better with the socializing, and Dawn, you got the cold-bloodedness down, because again, he nails, even just for a brief moment, he nails carrying the T-1000 for that moment, right? Like, that's what's great is through all its transitions, you believe it's the same character the whole time. You're never like, oh, that's yeah. So yeah, good job on that. Let's see, we got GR said they even used Linda's twin. Now, is this real? This is almost one of those things where I feel like it's just an urban legend. Is that really her twin?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's really her twin.
Her.
She's from, if memory serves me well, she's in 2 scenes.
Yeah, because for the longest time, I always thought that was like just kind of like a joke, urban legend on it. It's like, oh, it's her twin, just because they did like a good effect in that. But no,
just the mirror scene in the garage with resetting the chip, and then at the end where the T-1000 is her. Yeah, she died.
No, in the park as well. 3 scenes.
In the park.
In the park, huh?
What are you talking about there?
The bomb scene?
Future kid in her dream sequence.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, that's her sister, because apparently she was too bulky to make it believable.
Oh, good point.
Sarah,
Yeah,
so
good point.
Twin.
Her twins a little softer still, eh? Okay. Well, talking about twins, here's the other giraffe I was talking about.
The other giraffe.
Yeah. I swear these two people, as a kid, I was like, people look like giraffes, god damn it. Got the lady and this dude.
The guard that has her cast there. Like, was she in a cast in James Cameron?
Right there, yeah.
That woman there. Do you have any information about that, Casey?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I just recently, actually, and with having a newborn, my mind is just kind of shot right now. But I was actually just recently, I don't even remember where I read this, but it was her idea, I think, to wear the cast, because she thought it would make the character just something more interesting going on with the character. And then it was James Cameron who said, oh, let's use that, and you can nail him with it, and it was kind of a collaborative thing. Well, I can't remember if that was her that said that, or if James Cameron told that story. I gotta try and figure out where I even read that now.
I like that though, because it kind of, to me, insinuates a backstory that maybe Sarah broke it. That's what I think. Yeah, her and Sarah have had a run-in, so that's what I'm thinking. So they're just used to like her just like beating the crap out of them.
I absolutely love unexplained details in movies.
Oh man, me too.
It's world building, right? It's like, because these people all have lives that are independent of what we're seeing in the film, right?
Exactly. It's not important at any moment other than she uses it to try and down
hit him.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have no context, nothing. It's just there, and I love it.
Yeah.
And of course, this shot here, everyone loves it, of him going through the bars and just the gun getting stuck. That's just such a beautiful
The
detail.
gun getting stuck.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
what really sells the shot.
Yeah.
And I just love that Dr. Silverman is just here for the whole show. He gets to see everything.
I love that he stands, like when you watch it long enough and often enough, eventually you notice that he just stands there the entire time, like while the T-1000 is shooting into the
Yeah. That was it. When I was a kid, I used to pause it to see how long is he standing there for. And he stands there all the way until when the T-1000 is putting his head back together. He's ran away. He's seen enough at that point.
Yeah.
Mind you, there's editing mistakes, and sometimes he disappears. But if you make it as if there's no mistakes or anything, like he walks off and he comes back to be stunned.
just to peek in a little bit more. Is this real?
I think I've watched it too often.
Now this guy here, for the life of me, for the longest time in my mind, this was Miles O'Brien. This guy from I thought it was. You guys know Miles O'Brien from Star Trek?
Director, and I think he directed one of the Universal Soldier sequels.
Oh yeah?
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's cool seeing like how everyone's like careers in like Hollywood. This spans so many different like occupations and this little pieces they've been in franchises all over the place. Now this is, I like this touch, is that the Terminators always turn the car lights off when they're driving. And because you'll never see them at night driving with the lights on. So I love that.
I see everything.
Yeah. Although I will say that sequence there, it has a little bit of hokey rear screen projection.
Yeah.
Just a little, a tiny little nitpick.
Oh, can I talk about one moment I enjoy in that car where John?
What's wrong with your eyes?
Yeah, exactly. And John is like, nothing. And later in the movie, John talks to the Terminator and says, "Oh, like, I see my mom crying sometimes. She remembers Kyle, but she hides it." Of course.
Yeah.
It's a nice recall to that. John learned from his mom. It's like, oh, there's nothing. I'm not crying for anything.
Yeah. This is a tight script. It's a super tightly written script. That's what makes it work so well. Here we go. It's getting his surgery done, pulling out all the slugs.
The data could be interpreted as pain.
There we go.
That's one of my favorite lines in the movie. I sense injuries. The data could be called pain.
Yeah.
It's just such an interesting, fascinating way to think about how a machine could interpret
it.
Pain.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's a good line. I also love John's line. Hey, watch it, lug nuts. Holds him in. I think that's cute.
Lug nuts is the insult that everybody forgets.
Yeah. I love lug nuts. That's great. It's a great thing to call a robot.
Remembers lug nut.
Yes, and this is where we now don't see the T-1000 for like a good third of the movie. It's interesting how he completely disappears, but you don't really notice it, right? It's interesting.
And we don't. I think we don't really notice it because this stuff is so good, and this is some of everybody refers to Terminator 2 as an action film, but to me, that's kind of. It's so much more than an action film. And some of my favorite stuff in this movie is these quiet scenes in between. I just love this stuff. And then when the T-1000... go ahead.
I just agree with you. It's the perfect rise of action and then these nice lulls and action and lulls, but they're good character development. Yeah. And of course, now we're learning. Here's the good.
What a nice frame.
That's a very unflattering frame to stop on. I'm sorry. Here, let's play this for a second. That's better. There we go.
Reba the mail lady.
I know. I was gonna say I'm so. All right. Never mind. I was gonna go into a more dirty joke, but we're not gonna go there. Yes. But yeah, this is the good scene, which really gives a good family dynamic to Miles. Look at that happy family. Look at that scene.
Meckerson.
Yeah. He's good too. But actually, I'm sorry, this totally hit my head again. But one of you were saying, did Linda Hamilton's twin pass away?
Yeah.
She did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, a few years back, maybe 4 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
That's too bad.
That must have been tough for Linda.
They're
man,
like
yeah.
65-ish, 66-ish now, around that maybe.
Yeah, I would guess so.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really know for sure.
That's too young to pass away.
Oh yeah.
The amount of times I've paused movies. They're always the best frames you land on of characters given that look. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Oh, did him. All right. Now, yeah, because it's like we kind of go on almost like a different storyline here, because like they're going on to escape. That's all we need for the smile is just that one smile when he pulls out the big gun. We don't need John teaching him to smile.
Yeah.
And then she has her nightmare sequence coming up. Yeah, they were saying this is like a great scene, a great.
Yeah, this is the one scene where
scene.
they didn't redub it and used Edward Furlong's original voice, and the pitch is higher. You can hear it.
Yeah, let's see if we got 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause.
I could have met my real dad.
Yeah, it sounds younger.
Yeah, it does sound younger and more vulnerable, I guess.
But yeah, it works because even though it is a bit higher, like you said, it's more vulnerable, and he's in a place, he's more relaxed laying under there. So like it works that his voice would be a bit softer.
What's funny is that I wonder what the shooting schedule, you might know, was this also one of the earlier scenes shot? Because looking at his face here, he looks younger here than like on some of the later shots on the bike.
Yeah, I've looked at the shooting schedule a fair amount, and yeah, the very first shooting was in the Palmdale Desert with this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because like right here, he looks a little softer and a little more boyish, like young boyish, where like later on he's starting to look more teenager.
And he probably looks a little less exhausted here too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is the start. This is still the honeymoon period of I'm in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long was the shoot again?
Oh, I know it was short for how massive the movie is. I think they were done. It started in October. I know they shot through Christmas. I think it was like maybe three or 4 months,
maybe?
something like that.
I did reshoots for Christmas.
Oh man, I can't believe filming this. That's actually a pretty fast shoot for what they get done when you think about it. That would be
man, yeah.
Yeah. This is why Terminator developing a conscience didn't work in Dark Fate. He can understand emotion but still not feel it. Yeah. No, yeah. It's actually interesting comparing this with Dark Fate and seeing like how it's like how many of the like similar concepts can work so well in one film but just fall flat in another. And it's just all those details of like how you develop it and how you introduce it, and all the nuances that
I don't
make
know,
this
like
movie work.
I hate Dark Fate as much as the next guy, but the Terminator and where he ended up selling drapes, to me, is the highlight of the movie.
But for me, that's like the highlight.
But it's my favorite parts.
That's like the highlight. It's like that would work as an SNL skit. That I feel like it'd be funny as an SNL skit, but like as an actual legit Terminator movie, I'm like, oh, this is too far.
I mean, if you go to the end of T2 and like, I know why you cry now, it's something I can never do, etc. Give that Terminator 20 more years. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh,
it would be something interesting to follow, but I still don't think it was handled the best way.
I want my head Grapes movie.
You want this the whole just work running a shop. We don't see the T-1000 in this part of the movie because there's no computer record of Sarah Connor ever. Yeah, it is actually interesting because the T-1000's point is essentially lost. Like, because like he goes to Dyson's house, obviously, because that's like probably, but after that, it's like a little bit by chance he hears, obviously, luckily being a cop. Yeah, this is where being a cop helps so much. He hears over the radio that they're at the actual facility, right? So if it wasn't for that, like they really could have just escaped, and I don't know how he ever would have found them if they like escaped to Mexico or Yeah.
I wonder in the original script, he did. We were talking about how Enrique's place used to be Gant's Ranch originally, and he did track
Yeah.
them there, and he showed up there like just a bit after they left. And I don't remember if I know the explanation of it for how he followed them there. I got to look that up. That's interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's again, it's always interesting thing about like what characters are doing while they're off screen, right? It's like especially the T-1000 because like he's not stopping for a coffee or anything. He's 100% going to be focused
Yeah.
on this, right?
No pulling over to take a whiz.
Yeah, no. While I'm out LA, I may as well just see like the Hollywood Boulevard. While I'm here, may as well, before it's nuked, may as well get a look. The nuclear scene still messes me up. Yes, Northern English bastard. You're with company here. Cameron even received a letter from the people who work in the area praising for how accurate the scene was. Yeah, the scene of everyone just being roasted and flying apart is so. Oh God, when they catch fire and they're all just burning. That's 100% childhood trauma coming back there.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the Robot Chicken sketch where the T-800 stays to be John's dad but ends up being abusive? Yes, I have seen that one. That's a good one. And talking about sketches, the best sketch ever was Mad TV. When he goes back to save Jesus.
Oh yeah.
You must have seen that, right? Of course.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff.
As a kid, I love that. Don't worry, he'll be back. Dun-dun,
Yeah.
dun-dun. Stop it! Stop killing Judas! And brings him revives him like 10 times. It's so great. And here's Miles Dyson, where his fate catches up with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just at the last moment, she gains a little bit of her humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, sees him wounded, innocent, essentially on the ground, right?
Yeah.
I love this. Now listen to me very carefully.
Yeah.
There's one little detail I enjoyed about the scene where Sarah goes up to Dyson's house and tries to kill him, is that his kid has a remote control car, and it's pure serendipity that he ducks to pick up the car at the exact
At that
same
moment,
that he's supposed to be dead. And this also happens in Terminator 1, where Sarah knocks over the Canada Dry
right. Yeah.
bottle, and the Terminator is here. If she hadn't done that, she'd be dead.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
as George Lucas would say, it's like poetry; it rhymes. So,
Yeah.
but it's
interesting because to me it's determinism versus free will and choice. Is one of the themes in T2.
It's also interesting just how heavy the theme of not just motherhood but fatherhood is in this film too. Like this film's all about parenting. Like really, when you about it, like obviously the father figure that Arnold becomes, and like Dyson's a good father, right? And even there, you can say it's like with his child there, his child kind of saved his life there through serendipity, that moment, and the link of like with his family, right?
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. And after you become a father, it hits you harder, all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's true. Like I got my 2 kids, and when you start parenting and these movies start getting deeper meanings. Like I rewatched Interstellar after becoming a father, and holy crap, that movie hits 3 times harder than before. Yeah. So there, I love when he just brings them and he's like, "Hi, friends from out of town. We just want to middle of the night check out what I'm doing." This like super secure like research facility. They don't even let guests at the hospital after 8 or no after 4 p.m. So it is the guy, and then here's everyone's favorite security guard. Yeah, then we finally get the T-1000 back. So it's like a good 30, 40 minutes that he is not in the film. Yeah.
And then when he does come back, he looks like evil personified. His eyes are gone because they're covered up with those lenses, and he's no longer trying to put on this officer friendly.
He's done with the bullshit now.
Yeah.
He's 100% just fucking in the zone now. Sarah was willing to kill Dyson from a vantage point, but I think seeing him keep his son away from harm is what stops her. Yeah, no, that exactly. Like that's the huge part of it. It's like she saw that he's not just the engineer of Skynet; he's also a father, a parent, a person, right? And her killing him isn't just killing him, but also kind of destroying his family and obviously affecting his children, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, like fantastic script. You can't say that enough about this movie. And here we go. This is the scene that definitely should have been kept in the theatrical version.
Oh yeah.
Is him taking the axe. And again, as you said before, it's just a short, like 15-second scene, but it's so powerful.
And I love too, a little bit of an aside, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Mini-Mates figures that were produced by I think Diamond Select Toys years ago, but they made a line of Terminator figures. They're almost kind of like fancy Legos, but there was a Miles Dyson figure, which is like one of the very few pieces of merchandise ever made of Miles Dyson, and he comes with this little fireman's axe.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
It's really cool.
Well,
Awesome. I didn't know that.
I wish I had it within reach so I could show it.
Now, the Laserdisc version, was the Laserdisc the extended? Because obviously I had the extended DVD, like with the super extended, but the Laserdisc, do you guys remember? Was it extended or theatrical?
There were different versions. There was a theatrical. I'm sure Etienne will remember personally better than me because I didn't know anything about Laserdiscs until several years later. But yeah, they made a special edition version, and like then there's multiple. I can't quite reach them, but there's like some big like 4-disc versions, and
because that's what my brother had. My brother had a Laserdisc player in the late 90s, and he bought the Terminator 2, and then I watched Terminator 2 forever on Laserdisc. But you had to flip it. You had 2 discs, and you had to flip it so many times. Yeah. That was great. I think that was the extended.
Double readers, double lasers, so that very expensive readers, you did not have to flip the disc, but
fancy.
By that time,
my brother didn't have that one. Human casualties 0.0. I love that. I want to know what the cops think about this afterwards, because here's a guy that went into a police station and murdered 17 of them a decade prior. He comes back next time, blasts away with a minigun and a rocket launcher, and doesn't kill anyone. And then afterwards, always shoots them in the knees. Are they thinking like, did he have some sort of like religious experience? And now he's just
he's still all about the crime, just not the killing.
Yeah. He stopped the killing. Yeah, yeah. And then poor Miles Dyson. He is the tragic death in this movie. Is Miles Dyson? Like, we all wanted him, but again, he's very heroic in this film. Not sure how much longer I can hold this. Okay. I'm gonna Blue Yoda, Lava Factory. I want to do this meme, but I'm pretty sure it's been done. Is there Dyson saying, "I'm not sure how much longer I can hold this," and the famous picture of Sarah from T2 during the love scene?
Someone did.
Someone must have, because I'm like, that's an idea that if I've had that idea, someone else has. Yeah. Then this is one of those like moments where it's like, let's see, here, where like before I knew how they made this, like I didn't see it, but then after I learned that it's a little like robotic prosthetic they move, now I can see it, and I was like, oh, I wish I never learned that fact, because before it was so convincing, but now I can see a little bit of the wobble and stuff, right? Yeah.
Same here. I don't remember watching it as a kid and thinking there was anything at all off about it. But then, once you see the behind the scenes and you see the walking dummy, then you can see it in the film too.
Yeah. Now you're like, damn, that was a scene that had me 100% convinced until I saw the behind the scenes. Yeah. As awesome as the minigun scene is, they'd all be mincemeat. Yeah. My hard, he tried to avoid hitting them. I would, Northern English Bastard, I will say if he was human, I would agree. But since he's this machine that has like perfect stability control. Yeah. Maybe, but or maybe you might know a lot more about guns than we do. You never know, right? So maybe you got your minigun at home.
I always thought it would be funnier if you saw casualties 14.3. Don't tell John.
Don't tell
Don't tell
John.
John. He comes back
John-
and John says, "Did you hurt anybody?" And he says, no."
No.
No, it shows like it's like in T1 when the responses come up. Yes, yes
Yeah.
no, yeah, no. Now, John, don't look outside when we go. You got to cover your eyes. I the classic "Get Out." This poor helicopter pilot. Now, this is the craziest stunt ever. Oh well, this is pretty good too. But when he goes
really
under
good.
when he goes under the overpass is insane. Oh, here we go. This guy's
Ball
gardening.
gardening.
For some reason, my parents always assumed that was his house and he lives in there. It's like I think it's just his work.
Maybe
It could be, yes. Well, these days in LA, I'd believe it. That's definitely where he's living.
So
And he's
you guys may have
Yeah.
seen these, but there's a company called Greenlight Collectibles that got the license to Terminator 2, and so they've been making scale
Yeah,
models.
They
And
won this truck.
So yeah,
You got
and
it.
I did the episode on the Freightliner here, and
Oh, nice.
they also did. I don't have it within reach, but they even did the Ford Country Squire that the gang was driving, the blue car with the wood paneling. They did that one too, and it's complete with like the same rust and dust and everything from the movie. And I always think, like, if they made that one, is there any chance that someday they're going to make this little gardening truck? Because
I hope
this.
so.
I would be
that.
thrilled to have a little toy of one of these, complete with the gardening truck in the back or the
you
gardening little shack.
And you need to make the shack detachable, right?
Oh yeah.
You got to make the shack detachable. And then, of course, another video I did was the liquid nitrogen truck driver, his last day.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That was one of my earlier ones. The animation's a little more crude.
That little old guy character with a little button that says hello.
Yeah. Hello? No. When I was younger, I always thought he jumped off the side, and I thought that was like an elevated highway. And I was like, oh no, but because VHS was a little grainier to see, but after the laser disc, I was like, oh good, he just jumps on the other side of the highway.
I always thought the same thing too, and
scream there.
yeah, I always thought the same thing too. And even today, even though I know it's just the little divider he's jumping over, it's still in my head. If I'm not thinking about it, it just seems like he's jumping over. He's
jumping right over. He's done.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love his scream.
Yeah, it kind of
so
sounds a bit like a squeal to me too, which I really like about it.
It's so perfect. I hosted a stream of this earlier this year, really, of T2, where the cop gets hit in the back of the gas pallet. Oh yeah. My friend. Oh, and Enzo's good too. I like Enzo's stuff. Said he'll live, but in a wheelchair. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. I wonder what like the med wards were like after his rampage of like crippling everyone.
Oh
it's
man!
silly, but one of my favorite visual effects in T2 is when the Bol El Gal house crumbles apart when the truck hits it. What a great
yeah. Because he like crunches him against the guardrail there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
and the house sort of falls apart, but it has to fall apart. It's a practical effect, and it has to fall apart in a perfect way. And how do you achieve that? And it's seamless and absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite effects in T2.
Man, and see, this is like what you were talking about, appreciating this movie and new things all the time. Like, I never really thought about that because it's just such a good scene. There's so much going on. It's so riveting. I never thought about that until right now, how is just the dumb little shit that I've done on my show and how much time and how much effort it sometimes takes to make stupid little, like a house of VHS tapes fall just the right way.
Yeah.
So something like a shack crumbling on a highway as they're driving in high speed and crumbling just the right way. I bet there was a lot of thought put into that, and it had to go just right.
Planned.
Yeah.
And I like this here again, like the color palette. Now, what I want to know, because this became the color palette of like every 90s movie, but was this set by Terminator? The deep orange and kind of that like really crisp, cold blue. I wonder if that like almost purplish blue.
Yeah.
I feel like
Nothing comes to mind now, but I mean, if you compare T2 to movies of that era, especially science fiction,
yeah,
it's way ahead of its time. So I'd be very surprised if you would be able to find another example of such crisp cinematography and
yeah.
defined
I,
color
I
palette.
yeah, I just wonder if this is where that color palette came from.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Perfect.
What a
Man,
great
such
delivery of that line.
great delivery, and isn't this like one of the best set pieces of all time in an action film? The freaking
Oh, man.
liquid Terminator getting frozen by liquid nitrogen and just shattering. But I will say, Arnold, you're a machine. You should know thermodynamics. You just gave him so much more surface area to warm up faster.
I know. I think about that all the time. If he had just left him alone, they could have gone so far without him, melting back down and doing whatever he needs to do. They could have had hours.
I'll just give the benefit of the doubt that this is a prototype Terminator that he maybe has no files on, and he thought maybe this would actually destroy him. Like maybe being frozen and like shattering or something.
That's how I think of it. Like there's no P1000, right? There's nothing.
Yeah.
All his observations are what he knows. So you shoot it, falls in pieces. Okay. But
because it then shows him later where he starts looking and it starts like melting. He goes, "Uh-oh," type of thing. Like maybe he's not done. The stunt helicopter pilot Terminator 2, Charles A. Tamburo, was a Vietnam veteran, and this experience likely contributed to his ability to perform. I would not be surprised, man, because best helicopter stunts ever. Thank you, Jacob Ironside. Ever in this is definitely for me. It's Terminator 2. Like Northern English Bastard. Cameron was a guy who really did his homework. Yeah, before the dark times. Yes, before the times of the Blue Monkey Cat Smurfs of Pandora. I still love the South Park spoof on that. And then fantastic effect work here. I think my wife's gonna start getting where are you pretty soon. So we're gonna run through the end quickly because the steel mill is beautiful, and of course the famous.
I'm sorry. What?
Well, the wife and kids are up, so we still got more to talk about.
No. He's talking about what you just called this place. What the hell did you just call this?
Oh, the Lava Factory.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. What am I talking about? Well, what's interesting is despite all the lava visible, this was actually a very cold lava factory, and I think it was like 3 degrees Celsius was like what it was set at. So filming, and to make them look like they're hot, it's amazing. Like the spray the sweat on.
It's really convincing that it is a very hot, hellish place.
Yeah. Well, lava is.
It is. Yeah, that's true.
And I just want to note that I've been with the Lava Factory since the start. I think I was one of the first 100 people that joined that Facebook page because I remember the original comment that started. I read it before Lava Factory existed. I remember someone asking about the Lava Factory. I was like, "Who calls it a Lava Factory?"
I remember that too, and I'm kind of surprised because that original Terminator group it was getting tiresome, and there was a lot of but that was such a big thing. I remember that too.
Yeah, and it was hilarious. And then all of a sudden, the Lava Factory popped up, and it's like 52,000 members or now or something. It's crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we
last
have
time I checked,
1,000 people now, but it's great that a group can revive interest because in the regular groups, not that there's anything wrong with it, but people post always the same sort of like, I got this action figure and like, oh, did you know that? Some random facts about Terminator and memes are a great way to bring back Terminator into the limelight, especially after the disastrous sequels and sort of boring. I wish the anime series was great, but it was kind of boring.
I'm halfway through the anime series now.
I'm glad we have so many
full-time father, but I'm going slowly through it. So don't spoil. I've been trying my best not to spoil it. But the Lava Factory has brought lava back to the veins.
That's right.
Franchise, yeah. Call to John. This scene is so great with him. He's full creepy psychopath now in this, and he's like, I know this hurts and stuff like, oh. And then Well, I'm rocking a little bit of the T1000 hair right now myself.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pull that off.
Yeah. Call to John. I know this hurts.
I don't know about you guys, but this scene terrified me in the theaters when I saw the movie, because it's, you have this icon who shoots people in the knee, who can take
Yeah.
gunfire,
The hero.
nothing puts him down, and suddenly he's faced with this Terminator who completely annihilates him. Look at his face. His face is half off, his shoulder is off, and he gets pierced right there in that scene.
This is
T1000.
This is one of the best ever moments of like a hero having vulnerability at the end.
Oh,
like,
man, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, perfectly done. And then we get... yeah. Dozo, as we say in Japanese. Take it away, Casey.
Oh, I was just going to comment on the same thing during that scene where he's just getting
Hammered.
beaten and whipped by the T1000, and the T1000 just won't stop, and he's getting to the point where he's falling to his knees, and then he's crawling, and I remember as a kid sitting on the floor in front of the TV watching that and just feeling so heartbroken.
I know, me too.
And like you're weeping for a robot,
Yeah.
and he, in that scene, Schwarzenegger, he's not showing emotion because a machine wouldn't. He has no reason to fake any emotion, but yet there's something about his face that just looks like he knows he's about to lose, and he's desperate he's got to save John,
Yeah.
Everything about that is so well done.
And then here with like the alternate power route. Now I wonder, is this a tinkering that the Resistance did on him before they sent him?
Oh,
like,
interesting.
So maybe that's a little kind of my own headcanon that I do, is like the T1000 isn't aware that he has an alternate power source.
Yeah,
right? So he thinks he's done.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of like a little modification, perhaps, by the Resistance.
Yeah.
And then he pulls when he pulls the crowbar out of himself. Oh, that's such an impactful scene.
Oh man, yeah. Because you really believe, if you don't know any better, you believe that he's done for. Why would he move beyond that?
And then you get Sarah here, just and oh my god, this is nightmare fuel. This reminds me a little bit of John Carpenter's The Thing. This is where it goes. Yeah, just this monstrosity.
I wouldn't be surprised if James Cameron was influenced by The Thing, actually.
Yeah,
definitely, because a shapeshifter and
I mean, Terminator owes a lot to Halloween 1 and 2, so...
Yeah.
And it's such a great demise of the T1000, just panicking in like the molten hot lava and just, going like running through all the people he's imitated.
Desperately doing anything it can to try and survive this situation. Everything it knows, everybody it's copied.
While he's melting, he's reverting back to Jeanette. He's reverting back to the twins there. But why doesn't he revert back to the floor?
Oh, yes. Maybe because he knows he knows about surface area. He knows he's going to melt a lot faster as the floor. All right. Oh, here we go. We got Northern English Master says the scene where he reveals having detailed knowledge on humanity to make him an effective killer apparently is something used in the army as well, according to my veteran friends. Yep, that's true too. I've actually heard that. It makes sense. Your job is to put people down as efficiently as possible in a combat situation. It's grisly knowledge. Now, I want to know something here. I heard is there a remade? I heard something about this where now his eye moves, because like here the prosthetic fake eye didn't move. But is there a remastered edition now where the eye moves? Was that an AI correction they did or something?
No, I've seen clips though on YouTube of people doing their own version of fixing that.
Because I just want to heard that's maybe what I'm thinking.
His eye is broken, right?
Yeah, see that's how I always took it as too. Is like the motor functions in that eye are like gone, right? Because he's been smashed in the face there. So
but if we're going to talk about that, as far as I know, the only thing that Cameron fixed is the windshield the truck as it goes over the canal.
Oh, yeah?
It fell off in the original version, and he fixed that for the I think the Blu-ray, where it stays on the truck. And I think it's the only thing that Cameron fixed.
Well, there
Okay.
was that. So that was for the first 4K release, I believe, and it was that. And he replaced. Unfortunately, I think he replaced Peter Kent's face in
and
like
that too. Yeah.
the jump. And
That sucks.
I almost feel
I
like
don't
there were
that.
a couple other like really little things, but I could be wrong. I can't remember for sure.
I'm okay with the windshield fix and the especially the Peter Kent face replacement, because in theaters, like back in '91, like the image wasn't that sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fuzzy, and then you had VHS, and you couldn't see it really. But on DVD, you're starting to notice it, and definitely on HD, you can definitely see it's not the same actor, and it's very distracting. So I do agree with those changes.
Well,
But I think-
what I'm surprised they didn't change, if they're going to do that, like the windshield with the truck, and it's always gotten me, is when, again, it's the same shot where the truck comes off the ledge, which is amazing, off the overpass, hits down, the wheel alignment's completely destroyed. Like, I think it's like the right wheel's totally arched out like to the side, but then in the next shot, they're like parallel straight again. I was like, that's like, maybe you should touch that up if you're going to touch something up. But then again, I like those type of bloopers. Like, it shows just the what a film is, right? What the craft of film is. You can't always control everything.
Well,
But,
there's a theory that the T1000 extended itself and fixed the axle.
There we go. Yes.
And that's
Rest in peace, Stan Winston. I agree. Dan Winston was a genius, man. He was fantastic. His creature.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, there we go. There goes Arnie. Greatest ending ever. Here's the part I don't like. I just don't. I like the scene, but I don't like the costuming of the future because it looks so 90s. This is super 90s.
Yeah. I can't argue with you there.
This has a bit of TNG feel. This feels like they're off on a planet in TNG.
Oh yeah, on some kind of idyllic planet.
Yeah.
He's happy but there's a dark secret, a computer.
There's a dark secret here, though. They like do like genital mutilation or something. I don't know. There's but I do like seeing the old John actor again at the end, because you see him at the start.
That is cool.
I do like that bookend. Yeah.
And it's cool to see that, like, he got to have a normal life. He didn't have to live this destiny that was pushed on him. And
yeah, so I do like the feels of that. It is nice. Yeah. So that's why it's like I love and hate that ending. So it's all right. Well, now it's time for my favorite part of the show. Are you guys ready?
I hope so.
Tim Bottom Smith Baker. Oh yeah. Special effect, good practical special effect artists are a dying breed, and it's sad.
Are you referring to Rob Bottin?
At least they're not wearing togas. Yeah. All right. Well, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just get this up here. It is time for the RIPs. This was a long one to make. I took a lot of time at work editing this one together. So let's just get that up there. Share screen.
All right.
I'm going to narrate everything I do. Yep. Here we go.
Sad,
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay.
You just can't go around killing people.
Why?
In memoriam.
Oh man.
Poor little Sally hit her skull. I always felt a little bad with this one.
Wait. It's a kill count.
Burgers.
Right arm, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful and heart-wrenching.
That crack on the back.
Oh man.
Tell the kid to get rid of that fucking
Oh, yeah, nice crossfade.
Oh, Max. It's Max.
It's
Oh,
Max.
thank you.
Nice fix. That's good.
Okay?
Uh,
That's a nice bike. What's the problem?
R.I.P. 3 billion human lives. Nice
Wearing
combination.
2 billion sunblocks. Poor Dyson.
oh!
I hope you made it.
Hasta la vista, baby.
We're reals this time.
Until the next sequel.
Yes.
I swear I will not kill anyone.
Like,
You know,
share,
I-
subscribe.
I never thought about
Hear that?
with with Uncle Bob almost getting his chip smashed and then getting skewered by the T-1000. He did have two very, very near-death experiences in that
Yeah.
movie.
It was close. It was close, man.
Yeah.
Let's see if we got a. Thank God for small miracles. I have lots of miracles happening in the Terminator universe. Send you a DM, a picture of Terminator 2 pickup truck fan made toy. That's cool. Yeah, send me a DM. Yeah, I'll see if I can show that.
I bet he's referring to the Boulder Gold gardening truck because I've seen one or two really nice custom fan-made toys of those.
Okay, I'm gonna get on my Twitter. I don't call it X.
I don't have any collectibles. Like one of my only collectibles is this card. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, let me see. What do you got there? Oh yeah, I got Terminator 2 collectibles.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem is
Gibbons signed card.
Gibbons.
Very proud of that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
the problem is all of my collectibles, all my stuff is in Canada, because obviously I'm not going to be bringing that to Japan, right?
Where?
So when I moved here, all my
Where?
good stuff.
Give me.
Yeah, what's your address in Canada?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now. My parents have moved a few times. That storage locker keeps on moving around.
Yeah, what are your parents' names?
Oh, wait, I'm not telling that. Edward and Furlong. Rest in peace, Edward Furlong's flat stomach. Oh God.
Oh boy.
That's a good. Well, you've seen the Red Letter Media skit, "Fat and Bloated," with Edward Furlong and oh God, I forgot his name now. Jake Lloyd. It's pretty bad.
He's in better shape now, though. Like
He is. I see. He looks good
also,
recently.
if he got in shape, he could almost play an adult.
Yeah, John Connor again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Cameron is rebooting the series.
That would maybe that's maybe a stunt. It's a stunt, but maybe it would get me to see the new Terminator movie with some excitement. Is if John Furlong was involved again, or Edward Furlong, John Connor, Edward Furlong was involved again. R.I.P. Arnie and Cameron Spine. Arnie's still good in my books. He's just unfortunately a lot of celebrities, they kind of go in, they get stuck in the Hollywood sphere for a long time, and, although I was jealous of the person that he hit with his car, and it's like, you get to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger just via a car accident in a parking lot.
Yeah. It's almost just worth it to be able to tell people that story.
Yeah. exactly. And I was gonna say like I just want my car paid for, and then I want just to watch T2 with you at your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's all I want. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can upload this overlay here. Ah, damn! It didn't save like that. Because it's really, yeah, he's got it. Jacob Ironside sent. I'm just gonna do a screen cap then. 1 second here. I'm gonna narrate everything I do because that's part of being an English teacher. All right. Just saving the picture now. I'm gonna put it into episode 19 folder. Done. Very nice. Okay. And now I'm just gonna upload it. 1 second here. Add overlay. All right. There it is. It's loading. And there we are. Boom, baby. Nice.
Yeah, there we
awesome.
go.
That's really
That's
I would
very
love
cool.
to have that.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
love to have that. Now, I want to imagine this is Jacob Ironside's own personal toy truck. That's what's going to be in my head. I'm jealous. But yeah, I want to close now a little bit with our last big question of the day. What is your favorite shot of Terminator 2? Let's start with Casey. What's your favorite shot of the whole movie? Like, and it could be a little bit of a sequence.
Oh, you asked me to be prepared for this the other day, and maybe I misread. I was thinking least favorite shot. I thought was
that
what
one
you
too.
asked.
That one too.
Oh,
This
that one too.
is,
Okay.
That one too. This one's a bit of a surprise.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's okay that it'll take me a second.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna hate myself later for. I'm sure there's something, something that I would rather answer with, but
Oh, great stream. Gonna jump off. I'll check out more. Thank you so much for being here, Northern English Bastard. Yeah, have a good weekend and enjoy the videos. And sorry, Casey, go on. I didn't mean to.
no, that's all right. I don't. Etienne, if you have anything in mind, you could jump ahead of me. Otherwise, I'll do my best.
That you were selected first because it's so difficult because there's so many. I know it's an awful reply, but there's so many in Terminator 2 that it's difficult to pinpoint.
Yeah.
I love
guess
the cinematography.
Okay, I'll go first then to help out you guys.
Thank you.
And first Jacob Arison says, I wish I had that car too. And he sent off a little later greeting to Northern English Bastard, which was really fun to have on the stream in the chats. All right. So I got my favorite shot and my least favorite shot set up here. Now, there's so many shots in the movie I love. Like, obviously, the T-800 endoskeleton crushing the skull, panning up. Fantastic shot. The T-1000 shattering. Fantastic shot. Even just like the T-1000 driving the truck off the overpass. Fantastic shot. But as a kid, the one that I always loved, and also kind of as a filmmaker, is this one here. Let's see. Best shot. This little sequence here.
That was bad driving, though.
That was bad driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you look, the wheel, the tire gives out, and he turns the truck in the direction of the wheel that and obviously turn on the side.
But bad driving aside, I just love the cinematography in that shot, and I love that low angle camera, and it flips over so perfectly. And I'm pretty sure that camera got trashed because it looks like it's just about to clip it when it cuts. So I love that shot. And now, as for worst shot of the movie, this is the worst shot. Actually, can you guys guess? What do you think is the worst shot that I'm going to show?
Is it a technical shot?
Not really a technical shot, just a creative choice shot.
Creative choice. I love the movie too much. There's no bad.
Yeah, nothing's coming to me.
Good or great.
Yeah, that's right.
I know. I love this movie too, but there's one shot that bothers me, and it's this one right here. I've always hated how high up that shot is for him going swerving in front of the cars.
Oh,
Mm.
He's on that bike.
How
It should
specific.
be a low shot. It should be low. He should be at door level.
Interesting. Yeah, I never noticed that, but you're right. That would have been a lot more intense. You would have felt more like you were him.
Yeah.
That might bug me now. I'm excited. I'm interested in seeing how I feel about that in the future. I never thought
Now
about
we're
that
also
before.
annoyed. Thank you so much.
Yeah. For me, that was always the one shot in the movie where I'm like, that wasn't right. That should have been low to get this, to increase the intensity and to really feel like the first person perspective of John. Because it almost looks like it's from the perspective of the T-1000 because he's high up in the truck. So.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I've quickly browsed through the movie because, of course, I'm right next to my Terminator folder, and I think
I'm doing that right now too.
I think my favorite shot, it might change. It changes from week to week, I guess. But today, if you ask me, it's the shot in the desert where Sarah is reflecting on the Terminator and seeing the Terminator as a father figure with John, and you see sort of a slow motion high five, and John is playing with the Terminator, and it's just beautifully lit. It's at the magic hour. And,
magic hour, nice evening time.
To the movie, and I think that's probably my favorite shot if you ask me today.
You're going on the emotional level there. I like it, and that is a great sequence too. Jake on our side says he likes the lobby scene when the cops are unloading on the T-800. Also, fantastic choice. It's like you can pretty much say the whole movie, but we're not going to cop out like that. It's so much good stuff. All right, and what would you say? Is there any other bad shot that you've ever noticed, or have I now given you one?
Some people are annoyed. For example, when the Terminator walks up to Lloyd after he says, "Can't let you take the man's will, son," and Arnold takes off his hand off the gun twice.
Okay, I've seen that blooper.
Yeah, some people are annoyed by that, but it doesn't bother me. Like editing
that one never bothered me either. That's just a little blooper. But yeah, I've seen that mentioned on the Lava Factory before. Oh yeah, by the way, anyone on Facebook, look up the Lava Factory page. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Lava Factory.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Jacob, we will forgive you this time. They did unload on Uncle Bob. He's not the T-800. He's Uncle Bob.
Unloading on Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
Lava Factory members are going to have a field trip with that one. Unloading
Uncle Bob. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Yeah. Names are coming up tonight when I got time. I'm making some of that.
I'm also random thought, but the truck, when it goes over the overpass and they fixed the street name, right? They rotated it so it's facing right because they mirrored their shot. The Freightliner, the actual logo on the front of the truck is not flipped. And that
okay. Those are super common mistakes.
It annoys me. It's one shot.
Those are super common mistakes in movies, the flipping all the time. And I know that because even in my own YouTube videos, I have to flip stuff a lot and you get like the reverse writing. Yeah. All right, Casey, you're up. You've had time to think about this.
Yeah. So favorite shot, my first instinct when I was trying to come up with something, the first thing that came to my head was, like Etienne said, the desert shots at that golden hour, really beautiful stuff. And so I was thinking of, Sarah at the picnic table and that kind of stuff, but that's been taken. So I don't want to just, copy that one again. So I was thinking as I was scanning through the film on my phone, I didn't really realize, I noticed them individually, of course, but scanning through, there are a lot of continuous tracking shots.
Yeah.
And there's, some of those that I really like going through the Voight's house, going through their living room when she's going to chew out Todd and stuff. That's really cool that they're showing that it's a real space and not just a set. Some of those shots are really cool, but, to say those are my favorite shots. I think one of them might be, and that I've kind of thought about over the years, is when the T-1000, when we see him pulling up to the Dyson home and everything is burning, and we haven't seen him for a while, and there he slowly comes up,
Eating.
fire reflecting in his eyes. He's silent, he's stoic, he's sweeping in there like death coming in as a fog, you know.
Yeah.
That's a really haunting scene, especially, like, again, I think if I could erase my memory and see this movie again for the first time, you know, we're so used to seeing, we've all seen it so many times now, but I think if I could see it again for the first time after not seeing him for so long, like has been pointed out today,
Yeah.
and then that's when you see him again, it's like, oh shit, that's right, this guy is still after them, you know, like,
yeah. You like remember, you're like, oh my god, yeah, because you get so invested in the Dyson, pretty much like the
Yeah.
Dyson tale, which is like
Yeah.
the middle chunk of the film, and then
yeah,
that's a great choice because I love the lighting. Like when he first walks up, and you got that kind of like that shadow of his shadow casting over, and you can see like the light going on the sides.
yeah.
Is beautiful backlighting, and that that's a solid choice. And what was your choice for worst? I'm curious because you did have this for homework.
Yeah. There are none.
Are none. Oh, okay.
That's my choice. No, and quickly, not to drag this out even longer, but I just want to briefly mention another favorite shot would be when Dyson is dying. And I think part of that is because it, even more so for me now, so a little bit about me, I'm a nurse and I'm a hospice nurse. And I've literally, I know it sounds weird, but I've been doing it for this past month. It's been 10 years, and I've literally watched hundreds of people die.
Oh God.
And you know, our job in hospice is to get people as comfortable as possible and make that transition as easy as possible for them. But every now and then there are some cases, it's very rare, but there are some cases where some people, they've been through so much, and a lot of it is more than just physical, what they're going through. It's emotional, and it's, you know, PTSD, if you're talking about a veteran or different things. And some people, it's really hard to just help them get calm and help them feel comfortable. And then especially if you work in things like, you know, different types, you know, lung cancer or COPD, people are struggling to breathe. So the way that he looks there, the way that he's breathing, and the way that his breaths turn into just little tiny gasps. He's no longer even consciously doing it. His body is just kind of doing its thing. He's out.
Yeah.
It just, I so badly hope that someday, when I get a little more time to start working on this show again, one of my hopes is to reach out to Joe Morton, and hopefully I could get like 5 minutes of his time on the show.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I want to ask him about. Like, did Cameron just do the research and coach you on this, or, you know, how did you guys develop that?
Yeah.
The way that you,
from what I've heard before is it is pretty accurate to like how passing away.
And the way that, you know, like when I was a kid, I didn't really realize, you know, I just, all the blue lighting and stuff. But as an adult, I realized, like, holy shit, the color is drained. Like they made him up like he's got no blood flow left to his face. You know, he's so pale, and
perfect.
Everything about that is perfect.
No,
There's
it's
also
it's an upsetting scene. Yeah, that's another good choice. No, it's.
It also,
so much,
in a weird way,
so
reminds me of the Abyss scene where the guy is giving, is trying to resuscitate his wife.
Oh yeah, that's a good scene too. Yeah,
it reminds me a little bit.
James Cameron, right? So of course there's going to have some familiarities there. Now I was going to say not to be crass, but when you got these end of life patients, do you ever recommend them to watch Terminator 2?
Oh yeah, any chance I get to talk about Terminator 2, I do. Actually, you know what? Speaking of my job in Terminator 2, anytime I enter a patient's room, nobody's noticed it yet that I know of, but I knock like this before I walk in. It's maybe a little bit lighter than that. You know, it's more of a gentle version, but I always knock in that rhythm. I've been doing it for over a decade. It's just
that's fantastic.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, if I ever happen to be your patient, just through some bizarre chance in the world, please, as I'm having my last breaths, put on Terminator 2.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, thank you.
Can I give you the worst shot in T2 for me?
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it's everybody's worst shot is when the T-1000 jumps over the police car as they're escaping Pescadero, and he's dragging behind, and it's obviously a dummy.
Oh yeah, the great dummy shot. That's a good one too. It's such a dummy because the head's down.
It's obviously a dummy, and I don't know why they did not do that with a stuntman, and it annoys the hell out of me, and it's been annoying me.
And
since
and it's got the even how the dummy like whips it like it whips.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think from you watch this movie so many times, and we've seen those shots that maybe don't look the best, but you're just so used to seeing it. Like,
yeah, you don't. Think
you're absolutely right, but it didn't occur to me while I was trying to think of one, of course, because you don't when you love a movie that much, it's harder to notice those faults. So it's nice to think about that stuff.
Now, this may be too much of a complex machine because there are some moving parts, but maybe they should have done it where he magically he molded himself a pair of roller skates. He's just just whipping around.
Doesn't work that way.
Yeah. There we go. That's a movie.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
I guess
yeah.
Since I couldn't think of any least favorite shots, I will offer the only thing I consider it a perfect movie. I'm sure that you guys do too, or about as perfect as you can get. But the one thing I've noticed more and more over the years that I wish was just slightly different was when John tells him to prove that he'll do whatever he says by standing on one foot. He does it, and just that one little thing. He's so elated, and he says yes, and then it's not even so much that, but it's when afterwards he goes, "Cool, my own Terminator." Wow. Yeah. Like it's just something about that one little line. The way he delivered it, I was kind of surprised that Cameron didn't say, "Okay, let's try that a different way." The way he says that.
What's hilarious is I actually noticed that on my rewatch, just this preparing for this just the other day, is that I'm like, oh, I never really liked this line. I just thought to myself, it's definitely John Edward Furlong, John Connor. It's Edward Furlong's worst delivery in of his whole role in that movie. It's that one line, "My own Terminator." It sounds very like toy commercial. Almost.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
So that's a good choice. Yeah. So okay. So we got the. Oh man, this movie sucks now. We got
I'm gonna burn all this down.
Yeah. We got the too high camera on the dodging cars. We got the dummy, and we got the toy commercial now. Oh god. Well, but I think I speak for all of us. This movie is a 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, actually, this is the longest stream I've ever done. Actually, by far, I've never gone over 2 hours, and this is 2 hours and 47 minutes now. So
yeah.
This is great. No, what can I say? I got great company here today, and I had great comments in the chat and stuff. So just kept everything alive and going. So as we're closing up here, I just want to replug your guys' channel. So everyone, please check out T for Two.
Thank you.
Yeah, just look up T for Two on YouTube and you'll find it easily. It's the first one that comes up. He's got great videos. And I'm just wondering, what are you working on next? Because I do know you're like me. You're in fatherhood now, so unfortunately, production time is very limited now. But is there anything coming up relatively soon or planned in the works?
I probably would have a new episode out by now, but I'd been working on. So I do work on the show every single day, even if it's just like at work, thinking of things, making notes in my phone for future little things on certain episodes, whatever. But what I've been working on a lot lately is several years ago, a friend of the show from Texas sent me a bunch of VHS tapes of a bunch of I've never seen before videos of like one of them I think is an interview with like a marketing guy from Kuroko Pictures, or like a licensing guy talking about the merchandise of Terminator 2. There's a whole bunch of stuff that this guy has that I'm really excited to digitize. And so I've been digitizing this stuff to use it on the show. And I've had this stuff for years. And I, after the last episode came out, I told this guy, hey, look, I promised you I'd get these tapes back to you. So I'm committed now that I feel bad. I'm going to quit working on the show until I have these digitized and send them back to you. I said that thinking it was going to be a quick thing because I've digitized a lot of tapes over the years. And shortly after I said that to him, I started to notice that the quality of the tapes that I've captured over the years, like a few things could be better. And I started looking into it, and I've learned over the last few months that digitizing a VHS tape at its most basic level is very easy, but doing it really well with proper deinterlacing and all these other things that I've learned about is really, really complicated. And so I've been a lot of days, I found the best way to do it is I get up around 4:30 in the morning, a few hours before the rest of the family gets up, and I'm learning about how to do this stuff and how it works. And I mean, yeah, it's been a ton of work. I can't believe how much work it's been, but yeah, once I finally get those digitized, I'm going to start working on the next episode, which is going to be all about the Penetrator. No, it's not. But it's going to be all
you
about.
You watched that 100 times too.
I'll never tell. But
have you gone through the whole movie?
I actually have skimmed through it, and it is a really fun. I'm actually going to be doing an episode on that in the future for sure. There's a lot of fun stuff to cover there.
That's gonna be fun.
There's going to be a lot of pixelization, of course. But
yes, well, mosaics.
yeah. But yeah, the next episode, I've got it mostly written. I just need to film it and get it together once I'm done with this tape project that I'm working on. But it's going to be all about Terminator 2 on the NES. And then the episode after that is going to be finally part 2 on the Terminator 2 action figure line. We'll cover the next few figures that were released in Wave 2. And then after that, I've got a friend of the show from Los Angeles who spent an awful lot of money on an eBay auction that he's sharing with me. It's this paperwork from someone who worked at Kenner through the 90s. And it's a whole bunch of really interesting stuff on the Terminator 2 Kenner toy line, including like tests that they did with kids, asking them questions. Hey, what toys do you like better? What do you like about these versus these? Do you like Batman or do you like Terminator or whatever? But there's also images of these never before seen prototype figures that were never produced of different characters and things.
That.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. He scanned this stuff. He was kind enough. I can't believe he was nice enough to do this. He sent them to me because he's like, part of the reason he bought it was because he didn't want someone to just buy it and put it in their collection. He wants people to see it. So he's letting me help him share this stuff with the world, and I'm really excited to get into that because it's some really, really fascinating stuff.
Ah, that's cool. Well, looks like we got an endless time frame, like in a few months, or what would you say is a good time frame for these videos?
It's hard to say because I keep on feeling like I'm this close to having my digitization set up all done, and I've got everything figured out. And then I learned some new problem. Like the other day, I was learning about what is it called? Sample aspect ratios versus display aspect ratios. And it's these other issues with how doesn't matter. It's a bunch of technical shit that I still don't fully understand. But so once I get all that stuff down, which I always feel like I'm this close. This time I really do feel like I'm this close. I feel like within days I'm going to have these tapes.
You're just like the people promising cold fusion. Right, we got it. It's 5 years away. We got it.
Yeah. I really do feel though that like I'm within days of being able to get these digitized, mailed back to him, and then I can move on and start filming out here.
All right.
So I hopefully within a few months I'll be back into the swing of things and having new episodes coming out. I really hope.
Cool. All right. Well, I linked your channel in the chat.
Thank you.
Miss Katham Maman also says, thanks for the great stream. Well, thanks for being here, Miss Katham Maman. Always happy to see you. And everyone, again, please subscribe to T for Two. And while you're waiting for his new shows to come out, there's lots of awesome content for you to catch up on there. So, awesome.
Well,
and now we go on to Blue Yoda. So what are you working on right now? And, of course, the curator for the Lava Factory, the greatest Facebook page there is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to take care of. Although I've taken a bit of a backseat recently. I got a few mods. If you're listening, thank you, John, for helping out, and James and Renfro, because it's overwhelming how many people joined of one meme that came out last year on
Yes, yes,
Facebook.
yes.
I
The,
never
the, the,
thought it
the,
would.
the empire that originated from a meme.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's been a lot of fun and a great source of inspiration for my own project. I'm a mashup artist. Basically, I'm remix movies. I think you saw some of my work on my channel Blue Yoda, where I take different movies, I mix up the dialogue, I mix up movie scenes, and currently I'm working on a Terminator project, which explores the different timelines that.
Mainpire. Yes, yes, you have a
Yeah,
mainpire.
I
Thank
don't
you,
want to
TJ Playnights.
spoil it too much, but the different timelines according to what different choices Sarah makes and how that affects the future, using all the Terminator movies.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh
you've
man.
shown me some clips from this, and I'm still waiting for it to come out. When it comes out, you have to tell me immediately so I can share it because I
Yeah,
want
I'm
people
gonna
to see
announce it
this.
in the
Yeah.
factory because basically that's what it's for. It's just my promotional tool to promote my mashup. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun most of all, and explore all the different ways that everything could have gone wrong, everything that could have gone right. Uh, who John Connor's father really is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's the one we all want to know.
Exactly, and how everything connects together, how it connects to RoboCop, for example. In my world, RoboCop and Terminator are intimately related. If you read the comic RoboCop versus Terminator, written by Frank Miller. Anyways,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
taking all these things, and I don't have a timeline. If you're gonna ask, I hope it's gonna be before the end of the year. But if it goes into 2025, I'm just assembling each scene one by one as the ideas come to me, and it's just been a real blast to work on. I think I showed you a teaser that I
You
haven't.
did, you did. Yeah, you sent me the teaser, and I loved it. And
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna spoil
it
what I
doesn't
saw in the
say
teaser.
much.
It is funny, and I can't wait to see it. The full feature. Yeah, but I can you. If it might be too late in production, can you add a favor just for me? Is can you put Frank Drebin in the background in one scene because he's part of that universe. He went to Dr. Silverman. Can you just add Frank Drebin in the background of one shot?
There's a few things that is a few surprises in there. You'll see the police squad relationship. You'll see the police
Yes.
squad connection there.
Oh
Excellent.
boy.
Fantastic. Well, I guess we'll just end with what I'm working on. As you all know, my next cartoon is going to come out next month. It's like 45% done. I'm actually at the point now where I'm doing like the coloring. So first I do the pencil work, then I do the pen work, then I got to scan it, and then I color it. And then when I color it is when I edit like the facial expressions and the different movements and stuff together. So I'm halfway through that now. So the next phase after that is the actual editing the scenes together. And actually, first of all, Jacob Ironstein, before you leave, thank you for being here. Actually, Jacob Ironstein is my next guest, and we're going to be talking about equilibrium.
Oh.
So that'll be in 2 weeks. So hopefully everyone can tune in for that one too. Thanks for being here, Jacob, and I look forward to talking with you. So that's coming up next. I'm going to have a little Mario skit, a little joke about Mario. I'm half Italian heritage, so I'm going to have a little fun with that. And then I also got a video about that I've been working on for a long time. It's actually about this really weird mid-90s sitcom that lasted 8 episodes called Aliens in the Family. And
I've heard of this, I think.
You heard about, yeah, and it was done by the same people who made like Dinosaurs, right? So it's like the Jim Henson Company was involved with it. But if you watch it now, it was obviously the seed for what would become like a Stewie Griffin and Roger and Family Guy and a American Dad. So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm looking forward to Jacob. Have a good one. And yeah, so I'm working on that one. That's a slow one coming out. Then I got a whole bunch of other comedy skits. A Tremors review will be coming out sometime. So much coming on, but I always have like this list of like 30 different videos that are in production at the same time. Whichever one comes out first, I don't know. It just depends what hits me. Yeah. So yeah, lots coming out.
I guess.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I'm very impressed that Casey, you get up at like 4:30 to do your work, 4:30 a.m.
That's amazing. Yeah,
and you have 2 kids. I don't know how.
Yeah.
You do it. Like I don't
can't
have
do.
kids. I'm just married.
I can't do the 4:30 thing
at night to have peace of mind and the focus to work on my.
I got the 2 kids too, 3 and 5. The best I can do is maybe stay up at night sometimes, but not a morning guy. So yeah. I salute you, Casey.
See, I was at first I was trying the staying up late thing and just thinking like, okay, I'm good on like 5 hours of sleep, you know, but I didn't necessarily always get that 5 hours of sleep because maybe one of the kids, maybe the dog would be asking to go to the bathroom every 3 hours. So finally I thought, okay, instead I'm gonna try and get up early, and if it doesn't work out, then I won't get up that morning. So yeah, I actually started because I read, I'm sure this isn't maybe exactly true, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he says that he starts off every morning getting up at like 4 a.m. and he works out for like an hour and a half before he like even starts his day. And I thought, well, if he can do all that, I mean, I'm not working out. I'm just getting up and sitting at the computer. I could probably do that too, you know? So I started doing that, and it's worked out for me so far.
That's like Mark Wahlberg's routine. If you ever read his routine, it's insane how regimented it is. It's crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I gotta thank you.
Admiration for you guys. I don't know how to do it.
Let's just say I'm wearing the glasses not for the movie, just to hide my red eyes. It's yeah, and I'm probably already in trouble right now. I told the wife I was doing this for an hour and a half, and we're at 3 hours and 1 minute now, and I just heard the kids starting to scream. So earpiece just died.
Well, thanks a lot for having us.
Yeah, this was fantastic.
Thanks again for. I would love to have you guys on again sometime because there's more Terminator movies to talk about and more Terminator stuff to talk about. So yeah, in the future, if you're interested, please come back again because it's been a lot of fun today.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. And to everyone out there in internet land, thanks for joining in. Thanks everyone on the chat. Great comments from Miskatonic Madman, Jacob Aaron saying, DJ play nice. Let's see. We had, of course, Northern English Bastard, first time on commenting. That was wonderful. We had the Gourd King was here. I think Cannoli Sasquatch was here for a moment. Yeah. So thanks a lot, everyone. And see you in 2 weeks when we talk Equilibrium. All right. So, see you next time.
Hasta la vista.
Like, share, subscribe.
Did you hear that?